Testing. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now, though, at least? Let me try something. Yeah, that's not working. That part. Hold on. Okay, you can. Okay. Hold on. Hold on a second. Yeah, it's weird. I had to take apart almost my entire computer, but I didn't think anything like this would be affected. So hold on. Testing. Is that doubling up right there? Probably. Desktop. How about... No, it's not that one. Testing. How about this? Yeah, I don't know if you guys can... I don't think you can hear any of my desktop audio, though, right? Like, you can't hear the music right now, right? So you can hear the music too? Ah, that's interesting. The desktop audio is not moving at all on the... Okay. All right. Wow, you guys sound like this one.
I'm fired out of it, 10 down, 15, on them, I better dung beard on 15, I better dung beard on 15, 20, I better dung beard on 15, better dung beard on 20, down 5, better dung beard on 30, and 30, and 30, 25, better dung beard on 30, you want to put 30, sir, 25, ma'am, you're out, I better dung beard on 25, better dung beard on 30, 30, now 5, I'm 35.
All right, so you guys can hear all these sound effects, right? Oh yeah, there's no music right now. Can you hear that though? Can you hear that? Right, okay. So I think everything's good. Shoot. Let's see. How about this? Can you hear anything in this? Let's play it.
Can solve this crime, this horrific crime, and bring justice to these girls. Okay, lots of...
Alright, so you can hear everything. Wow, that's really weird. Because the desktop audio on OBS over here doesn't have any bars on it. But it's like the mic. Who knows? I guess I'm not going to question it if it works. But if there's any point where something's not working, let me know. But there was so much dust inside my computer. And then there was dust. I think that's why I've been sneezing. And then there was sort of like this dust underneath the computer and then sort of around. So I took the computer apart, kind of cleaned out most of the fans, and then got all the dust off my desk here. And you don't even notice stuff like that. Yeah, it's only blurry if you're setting. You have to hit the cog wheel and get it going. You hit the cog wheel below the video, and then you can change the video quality. But yeah, I mean, lately there's these people that have been imitating what we've been doing on this channel for years now. They've just now realized that the killer was about 65, 67 feet away, past platform 6. They just finally figured it out. Had you been watching this channel, though, you would have known that 4 years ago. Yeah, but unfortunately, I don't do all the bells and whistles, like... zing, bang! I guess I do have a couple sound effects out there, but I don't do the fake shit like that. But they did a whole show with like 4 people pretending they were using math, and we figured this all out just by using videos that our buddy Beth went out there. I was on the phone with her. We figured it out, and even after all that time, when these people went out there, they didn't do it correctly. Okay? The camera that Libby was holding was about 2 feet from the right rail, right off the end of the bridge, okay? And it was held down low to conceal it. And that's why it's down low, and that's why the lines on the bridge look all condensed together. And, it's amazing, because you'd think if they were going to go out there and do another test, that they would have listened to other people prior that had all figured out, and made a difference, because then it finally would have been, yes, that is the angle. But instead, it doesn't happen. Yeah. Yeah. And the thing is at this point, it doesn't really matter where on the bridge the killer was, right? Doesn't everybody just kind of agree now? Like at first it was, it was interesting figuring everything out, plotting everything, figuring out all the spots on the bridge. Now at trial, it would, it would just be a factual piece of information. But at this point, it doesn't matter at all where the guy was standing on the bridge. We got it all figured out, but it's really, it's at this point, they're looking for the killer, not how far was he standing from the end of the bridge. I mean, it's interesting to see and how it all played out. I mean, it took a lot of work, and it just, early on, I think my channel made a difference in the case. We figured out the flow of the crime. Law enforcement contacted me. They wanted to use me if they were going to go to trial because of the way I figured it out and put it together. And then there was never an arrest. So we actually just went on our own way and got our own information and were able to figure it out. Beth was a really big part of it because she was filming out there and was able to determine that you couldn't see certain things unless you were off the end of the bridge and low. So it was kind of, it was awesome. But all those things it was cool putting all the parts together where each of the photos was taken. And, but right now you got people reinventing the wheel so they can have content. Okay. We have already known that he was between 5'6" and 5'6", 5'9" ish, something like that. It's always been there. Yeah. So what I thought we could do later is maybe I don't know when, but maybe in an hour. We've had 3 or 4 days now where everybody's trying to figure out what's going on, and I thought it'd be cool if people could call in and say what they figured out. So is there anybody in there that feels like they have dug into some things and feels like they can perhaps shed some light on what you think is going on? My opinion is, and I said it last night, was that the camera the camera that, or I guess we wouldn't call it a camera, the phone, which is also a camera, the iPhone 5, I thought it was really interesting that out of all the phones, he made sure that they couldn't get to that one. Because obviously he just said, oh yeah, I don't have it. But he did have it. He just didn't want to turn it in yet. And he wanted to make sure that he removed items off of that phone, the very phone that he was using during the time that Abby and Libby were murdered. Okay, the other ones had all kinds of damning information on them. Just, it's mind-boggling that he wouldn't have wanted to delete those, but he didn't do that. He only wanted to delete information off of one phone. They got there. He could have said, oh yeah, I don't know where those are either. But the only one he really wanted to take the images and video off of was the iPhone used during the murders. I mean, during the time frame of the murder. Right? So that's pretty crazy, right? And so does that mean that he's the killer? No, it doesn't mean he's the killer. But maybe he was given photographic or video information related to the case by someone else that was using that account. Hey, thanks D&K Reck. Yeah, I'm just gonna, I think after I do this show tonight, I might, start moving back on to doing some other ones until there's new releases. Thanks or some interesting breaking information.
Flex biceps, thumbs up. Flex biceps, thumbs up. Smiley face.
All right. Man, I'm going to be huge after pumping that much iron. All right. So, you know, this is a video that Julie Melvin made for me in 2017. I think it was in March or April. And, you know, for those, a lot of you guys are new. I mean, how many people in here are somewhat new? Put a 1 if you're new to the channel or the case altogether. Like it's just sort of a new thing in the last week or two. Right. Okay, so wow, there's quite a few of you. Yeah. Yeah, I've been following the case since the night they were missing on Facebook, and then putting videos out since February 22nd, 2017 on it. So literally 8 days or 9 days after the murder. Yeah, you're one of the originals, yeah. Okay, so this is what the bridge looks like right here. Is it pretty, can you guys all see that pretty good? I can make it a little bit bigger, but that's about it. And this is the very start of the bridge. And you can just see walking across how, you know, it's actually kind of pretty out there, right? I mean, it was sunny, there's a view. This is very similar to what it looked like on the day that they were there. Very sunny, but the water was a little bit higher. And so it's this long bridge. And the crime scene, however, is around this bend over here. And like back right across the stream over in that area on the other side. Hold on a second. I'm going to open up Google Earth just to give you a perspective, so you can get a visual. See, I like everybody to understand what they're seeing using maps and videos, and by the time you're done, you're going to completely understand what's going on. And then when you speculate, you'll be speculating from a place of reason and logic, not the, you know, just crazy crap that you hear out there. Okay, there's a lot of, I mean, we had people saying that this was a killer right here, this stump. Okay, you know, and that's another one over there. Ooh, 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 ooh. You know, and it's mind-boggling. Hey, Beth, I just mentioned you a minute ago, Baba. Yeah, Baba is Beth, okay? Now, let me move this onto the screen here, and we'll get to the... All right. That was the Indiana Packers building. All right, we're going to get to... there's this one satellite image from April 2017. That's only 2 months after the murders. So it was really... that's the one everybody should use. It's just slightly starting to get green again. But you can, as you can see, look how much clearer it is than if you go to that. Look at the difference in July, the canopy. Absolutely, you can't see a damn thing. And then when you're in the woods, you can't see a damn thing. You can't see anything. But if you go to April 2017, or just April, probably between November, December, January, February, March, it looks wide open. And then when the spring is nearing its end, it's absolutely, the canopy's completely full. All right, so what we're looking at right there on the video is about like this. Okay, this Google Earth bridge is ridiculous. I mean, look at that. It goes down to the ground. Okay, but right there is what you're looking at. See that? It goes around the corner like this. See that? And I'm on the bridge. And continues around. I mean, I can just play it if you want, but it's very clear. This is a really, really, really clear video.
Right now,
that's why I like it so much.
Well,
I
at
was
the
able to use
middle
it
of the
for
river.
debunking a bunch of
Okay, I'll
idiots
just go
many
look on both
times.
sides. There's down to the right,
Alright, so
and then here's down to the left. That's around the corner.
yeah, so right there now it's about like this on the bridge, looking around. And then once it gets to platform 2 here,
There's where the girls were. God bless them.
that's platform 2. So let me go back to the beginning. See, that's the first platform on the bridge is on the right there. And then platform 2 is this one coming up right here. And it was just after that platform where Libby took the first photograph that we know of in the public. It's the full length of the bridge. And it's right next to this little vine that's on the bridge.
Second platform.
You know. So all of this stuff will just be used at trial to prove where the person, you know, where the girls were.
Honey, you can't say that. This is going on YouTube.
Oh, this
You
is part
better
was funny.
apologize to people.
I apologize.
Oh my gosh.
That was hilarious. Because he was scared of her about falling and he cussed and then she got all angry at it. But I thought it was kind of cute because he was like, "Oh, I'm sorry." Oh, that was
Hey,
good.
I know.
That's good stuff.
I can see him. Solid.
All right, so we're about to get there. We're about to get there.
So, I know what tree he's talking about up here. Here.
When they say the tree he's talking about, she's talking
These
about
trees
me.
that are right up against.
All right.
This is.
See right there? This little vine. That's what I had Beth look for. Yeah. She was like, "Gray." When we were on the phone together, she's like, "Gray, there's like a million vines out here. What the hell vine are you talking?" I go, "It's right there. It's the one at the angle on the, you know." I mean, I can find it really quick because that's what I'm looking for, but I can imagine standing up, walking across. It wouldn't have been. Yeah, you were cussing me out. That's right. That was good stuff. Great. There's like 1,000 of them. All right. And so that's this image right here. See right there? See that vine right there and then that little damage? That's right there. Maybe back up just a slight amount. That's not it. Yeah. So right there, there's the vine, and then that little damaged part right there is right here. And there's that vine, and then there's a full shot of the bridge, but it's, you know, different type of a camera. And just a second. All right, the bot should be working. Yeah, right there. And so that was a full-length shot of the bridge. This is a Snapchat image uploaded by Libby. This isn't the clearest version of it, but that is one of the first shot that was uploaded. Then they continued walking. That was right there. There we go. And then when they got to platform 3, then Libby got onto the platform 3 and then turned around and took a shot the other direction. So let me do that again. So he gets on it. It's right there pretty much. Yeah, it's right in that spot.
Do you have any of where down the hill is?
I don't know. I'm just doing what I'm doing. Thanks. All right, then we got, let's see. Here's the shot of, see how there's the platform there? She's just not over enough to the right, and this is wide angle lens, so everything looks a lot smaller in the background and farther away. So right now, she's standing next to platform 3, probably back a little bit further, boom, and you can see that platform. It's hard to, when you look at a camera that doesn't have the same wide angle lens setting, it appears different to you, but it's not. Yeah, I do have stuff from down down below, another Julie Melvin video. Okay, then they basically walk all the way across. It's really clear. Yeah, they just went down the hill when they were told to go down the hill. I mean, we don't know how they went down a hill. Okay, but right here there's a now they're near this tree that you see behind the killer in this video right here. See that tree back there? That's like 200 feet behind the killer in that shot that you're looking at.
Okay. Oops, sorry.
Oops.
Ah, well, I almost had a little misstep.
Sure what
I'm
that is.
trying to film
Hold
this and. Okay. Hang on. Okay, well, I'm getting close to the end. I'll hold your hand. Is this a little bit of rotten wood here? Okay.
All right, now, early on, people thought that Libby was standing on that platform that we're looking at right there to the left, but when she filmed the killer, but in reality, the killer was about almost right where the camera is. Let's see, right when you pass platform 6, right in this area. He was about right here, and she was standing off the end, probably just a little bit right near this, right? But she was standing right off the end of the bridge there. And now you can see on the, standing off the end of the bridge, there's a little bit of a drop there. And this is the hill that they would have gone down first, right there. And on the map, if we go back over the map, they had just crossed all the way over to here, and you're looking about right here. There's a hill that goes down to the private drive. There's the private drive right there. And then see how it curves? That's what you're seeing right there. And so they make it down to this bottom area here. And that, you know, they had to go down one hill, private drive, and then another hill to go to the very bottom level. And now I'll show you another image. Hold on. I think this is the one.
I'm just gonna go down this little hill.
Hold on.
Hang on.
Hold on a second.
I'm running a little bit fast. Okay, down this way. Down this little hill.
Okay, that was after going over the...
I'm just
This
gonna
is
go
from the private drive
down
down.
this little hill. Okay, I'm going
Okay, there's the
to
bridge.
video
Now you're going down the
downhill.
first hill. See?
It just came right
Looks like there's
down here.
people had gone down right over there at how it's
Right
dark.
there.
Did you see that? Right
Just
there.
came right down here. There's a driveway there. Down here. There's
Here, let me move it so you can see it. See right there, it's dark, as if people had gone down there already. Now, many people had been out there, so it's hard to tell if that was where the girls went down or all the various people that went out there. But there's the private drive,
there.
which is right there.
There's the underneath side of the bridge. There's my husband down there. Ted. Not bad. Heck, I can get down here with my... Heck, you can get down this little hill.
Yeah, so I don't think it's hard to get down at
It's
all.
not like it's that bad.
You
Once
know, it's a
get
little
down
bit
this
steep, but
tiny
you know,
little
if you're
hill,
just
then you're
coordinated, you can get down there.
free and clear and walk.
I'm sure if it was muddy, it'd be pretty tough.
I don't see like a no trespassing sign or anything like that. I don't know how much of this, where the private property ends and begins, but
Okay, so now she's way down under the bridge, but then there's another hill that you go down to get to the very bottom.
so this trestle, here's the underneath side of it. Now it's all just flat.
Yeah, so anyways, right now they're still
You
standing
just
up there.
come
There's
right around here,
more
so it's not
videos,
so
so I gotta get
difficult.
one of those.
Go right down there, and then right through those trees is the... So there's where the bridge ends.
See, now you're looking
Down
back
the hill,
after you got to the very bottom,
across here.
and now the river, where there's the river. Let me show you where they're at on the map. They're probably standing like right in this area. And now they're going to head towards the water.
Across here to the creek. That's my husband Ted. And
She refers to a video that I made in a minute. She says, there's that tree that guy talked about. Because that's what I used to find where everything was originally.
see the tape? See the yellow tape? Oh, it is very shallow here. So does he own to all the way here to the actual creek? I just want to give people to show you again, like the guy had in the video. See that?
So that's me.
Limb.
The
That's
bent
an
tree.
outstanding limb. And just to give you an idea,
The guy.
here is how shallow you can see the rocks. So you can cross there. You can go over here and cross. So you're already in the middle. You cross there. You're already in the middle. And you don't
So you
have
can see
further-
the
further to
crime
go.
scene tape right there.
And God bless those
See?
girls.
And that's the right hand side of it, and then it actually goes right over there, but she kind of pans too quick to see it.
Okay. And as you can see, I'm going to turn around. Uh-oh, there's a vehicle.
See, my original thought was
And as you can
that right over here was the intended original area. I mean, that's just a theory that I have. Because after they, the killer caught up to him right here, and Libby filmed him, then he comes by and says, guys, and down the hill. So they go down the hill right here, and I always thought that right over here in this little, sort of isolated spot over in the corner was the original intent, and then maybe they made a run for it, and then he caught up to him on this side. It could very just as likely, or maybe even more likely, that when he took out his gun, because that's what law enforcement believes, is that he pulled out a gun, and that's why they followed what he said when he said down the hill. And so he might have had him held at gunpoint, and then they just made a run for it across the creek. Huh? I'm just reading some of the questions or comments. Thank you, Kathy Freidenmaker. Is this the case cracked? The actual, Summer Wells case cracked, or just some other person? Yeah, we know all that case cracked. Yeah, we've talked about it 1,000 times. A gun is going to control people. A knife wouldn't. He had a gun. He got them to go across the creek. Okay. Right. I figured. By all the just almost non-stop typing, I figured it wasn't the other guy. Someone may have been waiting for them in the secluded area or not. I don't know. But, the thing is if this becomes true, what they're talking about, that it's a catfishing event, you don't really, some of the theories that we had out there aren't going to be true. Like the one I always had. I've said it a million times that I always thought that there was a killer. He was hunting people, and that he waited for the right opportunity. And see, what's weird to me, it almost doesn't make sense that it still isn't that. Because how did the guy catfish somebody and just get this perfect timing when there was nobody in front of them and nobody behind them? And I guess you could say maybe he was going there to catfish somebody else, but then that didn't work out, and then the opportunity presented itself. Something like that. Something like that. Yeah, but you know, if it does turn out to be that there was catfishing involved, then it's more premeditated on who his victim would be, right? I don't know. It's really, it's crazy. Oh, so let's play this for a little bit.
Guys. Downhill. Guys. Downhill.
Yeah, and now see all those lines on the bridge?
Downhill.
You can use those like tree ring. That's how we figured out where he was standing. You know, we didn't need to do all that other stuff that everybody else is doing. You just use those.
Downhill. Guys. Downhill.
Look like, I don't know, I can't make that. Yeah, there's nothing to figure out. I mean, I'm glad that some of you are new and aren't trying to take the image and pretend that you can zoom in on the face and see things, okay? Because his face is made up of maybe 20 pixels. So when people say, oh, look, you can see a zit on his face. Well, that's not true, okay? You can't see a pimple, you can't see a mole, you can't see anything. Because it's too blurry. It's very few pixels making up his face. And then what people do is they take the image and then they add, so 72 DPI is what videos normally are. And so what these people do is they'll add, go into Photoshop and add 300 DPI, and then they try to pretend that they're seeing information, you know, new stuff that nobody else saw. And you just can't do that. The only thing that you can really do in general is change contrast and, you know, brightness and contrast. That's about it. Welcome, Trin.
So we're walking.
Is this a different one?
So Ted and I are walking to the other side. With me.
Okay, that's a cloudy day, so that's a different one.
Okay, let's get letting him come like this. Other part of the driveway.
So there we go. There's the.
Okay.
Now, see, that's the other barrier on the other side.
This man's property. Yep, you can see a guy. He's.
Huh. Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I always say I know that they were terrified. Yeah. And I'll say what I normally say is that, you know, the way that you can visualize how they were feeling is, you know, you've had those times when you're walking down the street, or, you know, you're in a situation where you're absolutely scared that something's going to happen based on what you're seeing. You're panicking, your heart's beating really quick, and then all of a sudden, you know, it goes past, and you're like, oh shit, oh crap, right? Well, in their case, they didn't get to do that part right there. They were like, oh shit, and it got worse and worse and worse and worse, and then they actually ended up getting killed. I mean, that is, you know, it's an absolute nightmare. All right, just try to visualize what I'm saying. Those times where you're, yes, you know, even like some car comes up behind you and honks really loud when it was dead quiet. That just, that panicky thing that you feel, and it never got better. And it, however long that lasted is just a freaking nightmare. You know? I only can let myself think about something like that for a few minutes, and then I just go back on to just covering it without really, you know, trying to do it as dispassionately as I can to get the facts out. Even though inside, when I think about it, it makes me feel bad. You were followed home at 14, my own street. I hid behind a friend's house. When I came out and started walking to my house, he was right behind me, and I turned into the driveway. Yeah, so that whole walk was scary, but guess what? You got to walk into the house and go, oh, shit. Hey, Mom, Dad, there was this guy, That's what you got to do. They didn't get to do that. I mean, just think about that. That they were either forced or made to walk across that creek, and at some point one of them saw the other one get killed, and then they end up getting killed, and just the absolute, oh God, that's just makes me really angry. Man. Yeah, it really is. It just makes you, when you think of it like that, it really, a lot of times we're just kind of, oh, hey, man, what happened? Hey, let's go to, and you don't really try to picture what they feel like. And I can do it, but then I can immediately have it removed from my mind so I can then get back to really trying to figure out what's going on. So anyways, are there people out there that want to call in and discuss what they've figured out since then? There's also a bunch of, let me show you some of these really quick. Yeah. So these are some of the videos that Beth filmed out there. Oh. And so this is right at the end of the bridge. She's off the end of the bridge. But what I've always said on these shows a million different times, that these people that went out there recently, they just didn't do the things that you needed to do. Is from right here, you move the camera over about 2 feet, and everything else is perfect, because that's the height right there. It was really low. She was standing out the end of the bridge holding the phone low, and so it's about the right height. And it's incredible because when you watch some of this, you can see the lines on the bridge, much like a tree ring, how you do tree ring dating. So when you take the video that was released by law enforcement, you can line them up, and they go right around in this area right here. You can actually see this little part that goes like that, and he's standing right there. You probably can't see it very well, but here, let me it's always frustrating, these people that live there, they don't get you they don't do the right experiments. It's just unbelievable. It drives me nuts. Man, if I lived there, you'd have 1,000 videos that all were absolutely irrefutable and accurate. I guess I don't. I live 2,000 miles away, and yet I was still able to get this. All right, so let me see if I can zoom in on this really quick. Oops. Yeah. So this is what the video looked like. So picture that. See this whole video right here? And I'll even I'll zoom it out so it fits. That's what the video looked like that Libby filmed. It was that large. But law enforcement cropped out a little tiny square from it, and also made sure that Abby, who was still on the bridge, wasn't in the shot. Do you get what I'm seeing? So see how little that looks on that larger video? That's it. Now watch when you zoom in on it. So when you zoom in, this is about what law enforcement released. Something more like this, right? And there's the forked tree behind. And she's quite a bit farther, about right there-ish. Right here is about where the killer is. So if I zoom out, then you can see it's about like that. And that's about 65 feet away, something like that. And it's right next to this right here. And in fact, if I look right here, see this how it, part of that is a shadow though. So hold on, right there. See how that's a shadow? That portion. But now look at it when she's way past. See right there, this line, and then that one right there. See how there's those two? Do you guys see what I'm pointing at? So there's a line there, and then it's a second line right there that you can see, almost like a Y. All right, so hopefully you can see that. Yeah. Well, it's weird too, because it's like when you say 58 feet, that's kind of what we came up with using Google Earth up above, but I don't know. I'm just going to say between, 60 or, let's just say 58 and 65 feet. I mean, it's like it's where, it's so low to the ground. Okay, but anyway, see right here. See that right there, okay? And then when we play I'll go to this one. Now watch on this one right here. So this is the Delphi. When it gets to the really close-up shot, let me do it right there. All right, boom, pause it. Let me move it back a little bit. Ah, man, it's hard. It's brutal right there. Okay, right there. I don't know if you can see it, but that's the same spot right there. His foot's about to step on the straight line, and then there's a part that jogs up right there. And you can see it better in some of there's larger screenshots that they released, but when they put out the video, they cropped it up even more. Yeah, I saw the metal marker. Those guys, listen, we already knew all this stuff, case crack. So it doesn't matter that there's this little tiny pin in there. It's meaningless, okay? It's just unbelievable to me that there's so many people that are like, ooh, look at that, ooh. We already did all this, and we've been doing it for 4 years, going over exactly the same thing. There isn't anything new that you just saw those people do, okay? But it's always, what they do is they'll take something that somebody else has done and then make it another version of it, and then everybody believes that that's theirs. All right. Yeah, I saw there was like a little pin in the ground. Okay, so I don't know can you guys see the screen that you're looking at right now? Right there, there's the straight line, and then the little dark spot that goes up above it right there. So then when you switch back over to this one, you can see it's right here, this one. Boom, and then that part goes up. And so they're actually standing, that's about right there is where the killer was. Now, the reason, now we'll go back to the Delphi video here. See that little white thing right there next to his knee? Right there on the side rail? That's actually a damaged railroad tie that's on the other side of platform 6 towards the start of the bridge. Okay, so it's back there, but notice how it's to the right of this guy's foot, right? But then when I go over to this one, it's way over here. But that's because you got to slide her over to about right there, okay? Right in that spot. Then you have to move the camera over to the left about 2 feet. From this one, about 3 feet. Okay, because in this shot, she's way off to the right. Had she put the camera to the left about 3 feet in the same spot, that would almost be right behind her, but then you'd have to slide her over because the killer isn't walking right next to the side rail. See that? He's standing, 2.5 feet off of the side rail right there. Hey, thanks, your gypsy. Yeah, I mean, I think it's cool that they went out there and they, you know, tried to reinvent a wheel, whatever you want to call it. It's just, that kind of help would have been great years ago when things were still up in the air. But it's all known now. So we've got the, you can see that little white nodule. And that was one of the cool moments because I remember Beth was saying, hey, Gray, you can't see that white nodule when you're standing up on the bridge. Because you have to be down low to be able to see it as it sticks out. Like it looks like a white nodule. It's actually like about 4 feet of side rail that's damaged, but it looks like this little tiny bulb. Okay? So you got to, I think there's actually other video that's a little closer. Like maybe this one. Let's see. No, that one's not it. I think this one might be it right here. Now see, now you're getting closer. You got to move over to the left 2 more feet though, at least. But I think this is the one that has. Okay, so yeah, that one's not. This one's the closest one that there is, right there. And let's see what this one is. This one looks pretty clear too. All right, this one's almost in the right spot, but they don't have a person on it. See, this one, right there, you just move over about 1.5 feet, 2 feet, and boom, you got it. So that's where she was standing, and they have this tripod set up about 10 feet off the bridge. That's not where Libby was standing. She was standing right off the end. Yeah, well, there's video of it. You can see it. I'll show you another video by Bonnie Rame. That one is really clear for that spot. So let me do that one. Yeah, it's almost too clear where it's spooky. Is it this one? No, hold on. Oh yeah, so they went out and did some measuring for me. It's not that one. Maybe it's this one. No. That's almost exactly in the right spot though, right there. Oh man, look at that. Wow. That's perfect. See that one? Just another foot over, and there's the little white. There it is. Fork tree. Boom. Oh, there you are. Hey, look at that was right. Oops. I don't know what's on half of these. There it is right there. Look. See that spot right there? That's the damaged side railroad tie that makes the nodule on the side. And then there's the fork tree, there's the platform 5 right there. But there it is right there, you can see it. And see, notice how when you go back, you still can't see it because she's standing on top of the bridge. And maybe right there you can see it. So you're right near the end of the bridge, but you can see it right there. Well, you definitely couldn't see it when you were on platform 6 because originally everybody thought platform 6 was where Libby was standing. That turns out it was off the end of the bridge. Right there is almost the exact angle. Just another foot to the left. All right, there you go. There you go. Are you rolling your eyes there, Beth? I can see it. I can see it. Yeah, it's such clear video, these right here. Can't keep up with the chat because I'm trying to do some paperwork. Well, so what? Why are you telling people that? Who cares? Let's see. Have they compared the person's gait? Yeah, well, we don't know what his gait is because he only takes 2 steps and he's trying to avoid gaps in the bridge. There's a lot of people that claim to see all kinds of things. Like, oh yeah, so he's definitely got a knee replacement. Yeah. Yeah, you can see he's got knee problems. What do you mean? You can see that in 58 frames? Or what is it? 50? I think it's 59 or 60 frames. It's just 2 seconds. And there's all kinds of gaps on this bridge. Alright, so I'm going to set up Zoom really quick. And I expect you to call in. And don't forget, if you want to help support the channel, we have super chats. You can become a channel member. And by doing so, it does help support the channel, but it also helps charities tremendously. Where this year so far we've donated $41,500, including $500 last night, to Nick Mech in honor of Abby and Libby. And that's because of the freaks, the generosity of all the freaks.
Recording in progress.
Uh-oh. I'm going to turn off the recording, okay? I mean, even though it's being recorded, right? I mean, there we go. Stop.
Recording stopped.
Rotation. I'm just getting the phone numbers together. You should call in, Beth. Let us know what you're thinking. Oh, Gray. You don't want to know what I'm Okay, so the numbers should be good right now. Let me go to the different screen though. There you go. So there's the numbers at the bottom of the screen. Maybe I'll move that over here so it doesn't look confusing. Got 762 people, and now we want to know what you guys have found out in the last 2 or 3 days since the announcement that they're looking for people that communicated with the user Anthony Schatz. And even though they know who apparently created the account, they're looking for people that communicated or met Anthony Schatz, because I think they must have intelligence that many other people were using that very same account, and they're trying to figure out which user could possibly be the one related to the Delphi murders. And it's still, you know, like I said earlier, it's interesting that the only phone of all of the items that he had, you know, the iPhone 4, these various different items, he what do you call it? He deleted only from the phone that he was using during the time that Abby and Libby were murdered. Wow, thank you very much. Marianne Riddenauer. Thank you. There's the cat eye donation. Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Very generous. So don't you guys think that that is interesting? Out of all the electronic devices that were apparently at his house, the only one he didn't turn over was the iPhone 5. And he knows where that was, because literally 2 hours after his polygraph test, he goes home and he starts deleting apps from it. And then after 2 days, he sends it over, he gives it to the police. Huh? Who's Rich Life? I don't know what that means. Yeah. So I don't know, that's what it tells me is that there might have been something on that phone that was associated with the Delphi case, but not necessarily something he created, but part of his little, the creep group that he was in. They all shared everything that they did, and they said, "Hey, look at this, check this one out." Maybe. Just saying. Yeah, they had a Dropbox that they would upload to, and that means other people could see it. When it's public, but it's private, right? I mean, you have to sign in. And you think Doug Carter will make the arrest? Well, who's calling in, you guys? There's a phone right there for you to call in to let me know what you've come up with or your thoughts. Yeah, I got my whole desk cleaned out over here. I'm kind of excited that maybe I won't sneeze or start choking. Pedal rings are just rattling my world. Yeah, they became... I wasn't really aware of how prevalent they are until a couple weeks ago. I mean, I know that they're out there. Everybody knows that they're out there. But just how they're just all over the place. And they're hidden. And so you have all these thousands and thousands of missing young people, between 10 and 17. And now you start wondering, are most of those in those places? Someone passed something. Okay, we got a call here. 513, you're on. 513.
Hello, Greg.
Hello. Yep. What's going on?
Hey, this is Ryan from Ohio. Love the show. Love what you're doing.
Oh, thanks.
I had a thought, and I don't know if you've discussed it yet, but there's been a lot of speculation on why law enforcement came out with the new information at the time that they did.
Mm-hmm.
And the following day, if we recall, there was one news source that came out with the Anthony Klein profile.
Yeah.
And they obviously let us know who that individual was. Do you think it's possible that that reporter went to law enforcement and said, "Hey, look, I'm going to go live with this story. I'm letting you know that I'm going to do this," and law enforcement wanted to get out ahead of them, and therefore that's why they came out with it at 9:30 or whatever the time was.
Yeah, except that I guess at the time, what the article didn't seem to mention. I don't know, was it going to associate it with the Delphi case though? The article. I don't remember if it did that or not, or if it was just, Yeah, I don't remember it saying that. I just know that after we were told about Anthony's shots, and then we see this article that had the report in it, we would go, wow, so they already knew who this was. I don't know if they said in the article that it was... I don't remember. I mean, we all read the same article. I just don't remember now because now there's been about 1,000 articles. What was said in that one? Like, did it say that it was related to the Delphi case in the article?
I'd have to reread it, to be honest with you. I just the timing thing is what really has me interested.
Well, that was even weird to the family. You know, I talked to Becky. She thought it was... She was like, God, why 9:30? You know, because it was like 9:30 their time. And now they're going to be up all night, and people are going to be calling. And so it makes it seem like it could be something like what you're saying. Or it could be that they want to do it at that time because, you know, there's less traffic out there, and they wanted to maybe watch somebody specifically or something.
Yeah. And, I mean, there's also been talks of, you know, whoever his victims were, the victims of that account, I'll say, you know, maybe they're in their late teens, early 20s, and that's the time of day they're active. You know, who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah. One other thing, this Keegan Anthony Klein fellow, I see a lot of folks trying to make him fit.
Right.
When I look at the guy, and I try to just be, if it's simple, it's probably the correct answer. And when I look at that video of the killer on the bridge, I'm not seeing it, and the voice to me sounds, you know, late 30s, early 40s, just to me. And the fact that they've known about this individual since 2017 and just now arrested him in 2020, there's no way, in my personal opinion, that he's the killer.
Yeah, I don't. When I'm more in your camp. Like I mean, I've been saying that he doesn't look like him to me. He looks way too big. But then people say, well, he could have gained all that weight, but he's always had big hands and everything. And so I don't really, I don't know. He looks kind of like he's got smaller hands, and he's able to tuck them into his jeans. Those people that have those massive, like, mitt hands, you know, I don't think they're the type that stick their their hands in their pockets. You know, it's like you can't even really, especially when the jeans are right on you. Now, if you have really huge baggy jeans, you might do that, but I don't know. I mean, there are pictures of him with his hands in his pocket, but they're like these really big jeans, not like the ones that are on the bridge.
Exactly. Another thing I noticed too is, I won't refer to him as you know who, but the killer on the bridge is wearing the Indiana special, you know, the blue jacket, or Midwestern special, you know, the blue jeans, whatever. All the pictures I've seen of Keegan Anthony Klein, he's wearing more of like a sporty attire. Obviously, it's possible he could, you know, wear a disguise, whatever, but we have to take that into account as well. You know, does he dress like, you know, the killer?
Yeah, except, you know, I guess you could say that he wouldn't want to dress the way he normally dresses. I happen to think that the guy's just wearing like normal clothes that people wear in Indiana, and he didn't have any concern other than maybe a scarf or something that he might have worn at certain times, and the hat to kind of disguise who he was slightly. But I think he has all those clothes, and he probably wore the same stuff together on other occasions when he wasn't murdering somebody.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep.
Well, I think we're on to something, and I think it's going to be someone associated with that account. Hopefully, it'll be soon. So. But that's all I have for tonight, and I appreciate everything you do.
Hey, well, thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
All right.
Right back.
Have a good night.
You
Bye-bye.
too. Bye. Yeah, I think most people wear the stuff that he was wearing. I saw a video one time early on in the case where there were about 20 guys and there were some girls and everything, but they were walking around. They were doing something at a park in India, right around this area, and every single guy had on blue jeans, a blue jacket, dark shoes, and had like a hoodie coming out of an under jacket. I mean, it was just, it's unreal. Okay, Yeah, so nobody actually knows what this person normally wears, but he's wearing stuff that's very consistent with what people normally wear in the area, right? And maybe this is what he wears on the weekends, and then maybe during the week he has a job at a business somewhere. We just don't know. Okay, Mary.
Hello, Gray. How are you?
Hey, not too bad. What's going on?
Well, it's 5 to 3 here in the morning. And I don't know why I'm awake, but when I'm awake, I do listen to you. I did go back and start looking over all the Delphi videos that you had done, and fair play to you. They're very detailed. It's very scary when I think of those two girls. I think what you were saying earlier on, I did mention there I have a daughter that's only 14, and it's terrifying to think what could happen, but also knowing at that teenage mindset where they're at, where they think they're more grown up than they are, and there's so much goes on for them, you know. But I've also become very aware of Snapchat, and I've become very aware of all these online accounts, you know, and so much goes on that's beyond sometimes my own comprehension, because I'm not a teenager, you know. And it's very sad. I do believe this Anthony Shots thing is it's very interesting. They came out initially. Has anybody come across him? They knew who he was, and they're just trying to gather obviously more information in terms of, I would agree with you, I think looking for other people associated with the account. They interviewed this fella. Was not even, was it a week, 2 weeks after the murders? Yeah,
it was the 25th, so 12 days later.
Yeah.
Or not even that.
And
12 days.
It would be very hard to, it'd be very hard to imagine if they thought he was the killer, that something more wouldn't have been done with this man in the last couple of years. And why now looking for this information? I've no answers to it. I just find it fascinating. And there's a part of me who was hoping like mad that there is going to be more details. And yet how the information has been coming out over the last 3-4 years in piecemeal bits from the police, I'm not sure will it lead to anything just yet.
Yeah. I mean, I'm here's the thing is, this could just be something that they're interested in pursuing, and it's not related at all. That's the thing is, see, all they know is that they here's what I really believe is that they obviously know that Anthony Shots' account communicated with Libby's account. I think that's something that they obviously know that happened, because without that there wouldn't be a connection that they would spend time trying to look at. And so probably over the years they went back and revisited some of these earlier things, and they probably went, God, how did we miss this? You know, this guy deleted his phone during that exact time, and but then they look at him and they go, you know, this guy really doesn't seem like he's the one. But is it possible that there's a group of people using the same sign-in? And I think that they have intel now that is the case. And now they're just trying to... And I don't think... See, here's the thing. You could have this little group of people using a sign-on, but none of them know who each other is physically. Yeah. Like, they don't know who... They might not even know their real names. They might not even know what they look like at all, but they're all using it and sharing the goods that they get from, you know, the bounty they get from their... I mean, it's just sick shit, but, you know, like, if they're catfishing somewhere, they just have to make sure that they share everything that they found with all the rest of the people using it. Something like that, right? Yeah.
And it does go to, I suppose, the fact, I do believe when there's these kind of, I suppose, groups or rings, or whatever you want to call them, they do share. They share information. And because it's so underground, in many ways. But it's in a way, again, it's all speculation. I'm only speculating, and I'm over speculating in the last week because of this information, you know. And I said I have to go back now to the hard facts again. And it's if it isn't that Klein fella, it's somebody obviously associated with them. And if the girls had arranged to meet the person, then they would be on the lookout for that good-looking fella. You know, it's there's so much to kind of map out in many ways. And if it was prearranged, they would be on the lookout for the good-looking fella. So whoever had come along would immediately raise suspicions. You know.
So that's what we were talking about the other day. So they go to the park, and then they're like, oh my God, is this, you know, but they might not have known that guy was the one that is tricking them. He might have just been there, but he knew that they were going to be there, right? Like the killer knew that they were going to be there, but they just thought, wow, this guy's creepy. Maybe our guy will show up in a little bit, right?
Yeah. And we don't know what other videos they had.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a bunch of videos where they were just filming them, you know, just having fun, filming themselves walking down the path. I'm sure if they have other video with the killer in it that was clear, they would have showed us those videos so that we could, you know, get his face out there.
And I'm going to see somebody there. And the immediate thing is, you know, down the hill is the person saying, oh, that other fella, I'm a friend of his, he's down the hill. You know, I mean, there's so many different connotations of what anything could mean, you know.
I don't believe that at all. I think the down the hill was an order to get them to go down the hill. You know, that's because they obviously, you know, I guess now you could throw out a scenario where this person goes, hey, you were supposed to meet somebody here, right? He's down the hill.
Yeah.
Wait. Hey, everybody, you're supposed to meet somebody. He's down the hill.
I know.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think he took out a gun. They know the order of it. He took out a gun. It cocked. They heard a click. They told one of the parents that that's what that was. It was a gun. And then he says down the hill. And then they go down the hill.
Yeah.
So all these other wild stories that people try to come up with isn't going to be the case.
Yeah. I mean, I just hope it's solved. I really, really do. I think for the families, it must be, I don't know what they're going through. I couldn't even imagine. But anyway, that's all I wanted. I said I'd ring in and say hello anyway. Well, I think you're doing a great job. I really appreciate what you do.
Well, thank you. And I like I always like hearing your voice too. It's, you know, what is it, Scotland or England? What is it again?
Oh, I'm Ireland.
Ireland. Okay, that's what I was thinking.
Oh, I'm Irish, yeah.
I thought last time I was thinking Ireland, but then I thought,
no.
Do I remember that right?
The west of Ireland. I'm a pure Irish.
Well, I've actually I stayed, I think, a week in Killarney.
Killarney is good.
That's such a
Killarney is fun.
It's such a cool. Yeah, you know what was amazing when you're walking down the street, all these people are singing those, you know, the Irish, you know, folk songs and stuff, and everybody knows them. And I don't know, it's such a neat culture, you know.
It's small. It's a small country, you know, and it's true, you know, when somebody says, chances are you might know people, you know. It is, and in a way it can be too small sometimes, but that's another story, depending on what age you are. But all the West Coast, all of Ireland is wonderful, you know. I do love Kerry. I love Cork as well. But
the Ring of Kerry. That's where we.
The Ring of Kerry is fantastic.
Yeah.
But so is County Clare, Galway, all up along the.
But
West
your
Coast.
roads are ridiculous. They're like 4 feet wide and you're supposed to drive two lanes. It's stupid.
Yes. and we drive at the wrong side of the road.
I know. Yeah, it's just when we were over there, it was just a nightmare for me mentally. You know. Oh God.
Kept you on your toes, I'd say.
Yep.
But well, if you ever come again, you know, you've got friends in Ireland. Great.
Oh, cool. Hey, look at Kelsey said, Was supposed to spend, or not, yeah, Kelsey just said, was supposed to spend some time there after my study abroad, but it all got canceled because of COVID.
There you go. That's sad.
Yeah.
Well, now I've been to the States myself. I've been in Chicago, New York, actually, San Francisco, a couple of places. So I have relations all over, scattered all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
But and very close relations, actually. They're coming to visit again soon. So look, but I mean, the world is a strange and funny place. I think the internet has created has brought an awful lot out into the open, good, bad, and indifferent. But
Yep.
I really dislike when I hear of it's bad enough when you hear people get murdered. When I hear children, I mean, it cuts me to the core.
Yeah, I totally agree. But hey,
yeah,
go ahead.
I was going to say good luck to you now.
Oh, yeah. Well, thank you. Got to get these other calls, but I appreciate it. And yeah, go to Ireland, everybody.
Thank you for listening.
Yeah,
Take care.
Thanks for calling in. All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Awesome. Yeah, you should call in, Kelsey, if you can. Let me do this one. 801, you're on.
Hello.
Hello. 801.
Hello. This is Silverleaf.
So early?
No, Silverleaf.
Oh, Silverleaf. I was like, what? Okay. Yeah, what's going on?
Nothing much. I wanted to call. I just wanted to say thank you. You do such an amazing job on everything. Your maps, to pinpointing things, drawing out the actual proof of things, not just the hearsay and the dramas, and I just really appreciate that.
Well, thank you.
So I have so many questions, but when you first heard this and you started following it, did you think it would be 5 years later and this hadn't been solved?
No, I didn't think that at all. I thought it would just be, pretty soon, really, because it was, you have a video, you have the audio. It seemed like somebody would come forward. No police think that either. I mean, all the police, the prosecutors, everybody thought the case would be solved in just days because of the evidence that they did have. But it didn't pan out that way.
What do you think tripped this up? I mean, it is really weird that there's video, like everything you've just said. What do you think tripped them up that made them stumble and couldn't find this person's?
Well, I don't know if they stumbled or anything. It just seems like that they, you look at the video, it's too blurry. It was, it's way too blurry. You can barely make out the face. And at all, I mean, you can just barely make out little things. And then the audio is just, I mean, it's okay, but I mean, a lot of people sound like that. And, but you do have a picture, of the guy, but you only got 2 seconds worth of it. And it just, obviously there wasn't enough information left at the crime scene to lead directly to him either. It's crazy. I mean, they had the FBI, the best of the best, right away, and they couldn't do it. So that should tell you something.
Yeah. Well, and that's where it's kind of crazy because it's like, was this person a one-off and they just, I hate to say this, but they got lucky, like everything just fell perfectly, because it seems like there's like this well-coordinated effort, and now you've got this account. I hate to say it, but this account almost seems like are we pimping out a catfish account to pedophiles so they can have a hunting season? I mean, it's so crazy, and it seems so coordinated, but yet it seems so random at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, it's really weird. I mean, I was talking to Kelsey the other day, and it was like, man, like things that we believe, and based off of what law enforcement was saying, if it turns out to be true that it was catfishing, are completely opposite of what it appeared to be this whole time. It seemed like they said the internet had nothing. They didn't believe that the internet had anything to do with it.
Yeah, and then I mean the FBI. I mean, I mean, you're talking about the best of the best of the best. You've got FBI, and it's like, how after 5, okay, I'm sure they figured out this. I mean, this whole social thing probably didn't happen just a couple of nights ago. I happened to be on your show, or listening, not on your show, pardon me, listening to your show when it kind of broke. But I thought, how, the very best, and it's like, is this person this lucky, or are they this good? I don't know. It's just interesting. So that was it. That was all I wanted to, that's all I wanted to say. It seems so scary that, you can almost like kind of sell out this account. I mean, obviously this catfishing account is valuable, whether it's, state valuable or nationally valuable, where, I had watched something where the pedophile rings that are kind of in Great Britain, how coordinated they really are. And it's like, now that we have electronics the way they are, it's so easy. And I don't think these girls would have talked to a guy, but I do think they may or could have fallen for, there was a girl, like a girl's name that was associated with this account, where you would just start talking as girls, and the girl says, "Oh yeah, let me send you the picture of my boyfriend."
Yeah, I think that's exactly what he was doing with the female account that was his stepsister's name. He would pretend that, oh, I've got this really, try to be friends with the girl, and then, oh, I got this really hot brother that you might be interested in. Boom, you throw out the model, and then boom, it sounds so legit because you got the female and then you got the guy. Yeah.
Yeah, just very just innocent girl type stuff, especially if they had been quote unquote talking for a minute, not like, not 30 minutes or something like that, where if there had been a long time in coming, because they just seem like these were girls that would not go looking for something like this, but could easily fall.
So maybe they
became talking.
Maybe they became friends almost first with with the female account, and then a few days in, they're like, "Hey, you seem really cool. Hey, would you like to? You want to meet my? I have this brother." And then they send the pictures, and they're like, "Oh my God, is that really?" And then, "Oh, you guys think he's cute? I don't know. Some crap like that. Well, he's my brother.
Or this is it's my brother, it's my boyfriend," and it's like, oh my gosh, wow, where it's not so blatant in their face, because I don't know, these girls seem too smart to fall for the obvious, but the trickery of the innocence of, hey, you're my friend, this is my brother, this is my boyfriend, oh my gosh, holy cow, and then this whole thing. I just think the social account, once everything pans out and it comes out, I think this is going to be something that we've never seen before. This coordinated effort of, we've got this great catfish account, we're going to sell it out for 24 hours at a time, and you can go hunting or fishing or whatever, you get what you get, and then you've got to turn the account back over.
Yeah, that's if it was that. It could be something where it was like a group of people that would just use the same one, maybe.
Yeah, but, and you can't find them. You can't track them.
One thing that's kind of weird is that he, obviously, on the 25th of February 2017, they put out they got a search warrant based off the FBI investigation into the case. So they must have, obviously at that time, correlated Anthony Schatz to Abby and Libby, and that this person had communicated with one or two of them right around that time, and that was enough for a judge to sign off on a warrant to go to the house, and that sort of led to nothing. And then now it's coming back again, because it obviously at that time, I think that they got a search warrant, and it was through the investigation by the FBI, and I don't know how the FBI would have found just some random person that's doing this. It seems like it would have been looking through all of the social media accounts of Libby and Abby, and I popped up on that one. So that part's a little weird that it's now coming back again, because they obviously, to me, they must have associated it even back then.
Yeah. And don't you think it's, I mean, I'm kind of looking at this area, and no offense to anybody that's around this area, but my goodness, all the sexual predators that are there, because you had that one girl, like I think it was earlier in the year, just that small, I mean, very small child, that he had coaxed her in with his dog.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, she probably, I mean, how, I mean, sheer by the grace of God was she saved. But man, this area, I wonder how much investigation and how many things have they been able to find or track with this. And you seem to be really good with like everything computer. Do you think it's possible that they can triangulate traction, and that's why they kind of put this out? It's kind of like the old version of keep somebody on the phone long enough and you can track their call and see where they're at. Where out, I don't know how to say it, but where they're out in the internet and you start seeing a lot of spike or a lot of activity based off of putting something out.
Yeah, I mean, after they put the information out, you think maybe that led to, like they wanted to monitor chatter, something like that, after that?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
oh my God. Maybe. I mean, maybe something like that.
I don't know if they can do that, so.
Well, I'm sure they, maybe they can, if they have a specific number of people that they're monitoring, is there all of a sudden this dramatic pickup in texting and conversation, maybe. I don't know. It might be hard to get warrants on all those kinds of things, but maybe not.
Yeah. Well, I've taken so much of your time. I really appreciate it. I know there's other callers. Thank you for everything that you do. Really appreciate it, and I hope you have a great holiday.
Well, you too. Thanks for calling in.
Thanks. Have a great one.
All right, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. I'm going to rewind it back again on this. It's kind of cool just having that play like that. All right, Steve.
Hey, Greg.
Hey.
I have a few points, but I'll run through them kind of quick. The first is it seemed in the early days of the case, the media really branded this as like the Snapchat killer case or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And like other than the photo that came from,
it's like full circle. We're back to Snapchat again.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting, and it kind of made me wonder if perhaps a media source or two got a little bit of a whisper from law enforcement that, hey, maybe Snapchat might be involved or something like that.
I think it was more that there was just 2 images released, uploaded by Libby to Snapchat, and it became kind of it's a quick little, easy title to make people, ooh, the Snapchat killer. And now it just turns out that they're getting back to social media again, and Snapchat's one of the 2, if not many other accounts that were associated. So I don't think that there was, like, they knew something early on, and that's why they named it that.
A few other thoughts I had. It seemed the FBI was involved fairly early on, and there's been some speculation about like why were they involved? Was it a matter of just an FBI agent being in the area, which I think was part of the original search, but then there was some speculation like, well, was a serial killer involved or whatever. But with the most recent revelations, I'm starting to think that maybe they wanted the technical expertise of the FBI surrounding a lot of digital stuff. And on a related note,
yes, they do. That's the thing. That's what they absolutely have the best at, and that's why they come in so early, because they can quickly start getting the digital footprints of individuals and so forth really quickly. And they're good at the DNA and evidence collection, all that stuff. Right.
Yeah, and on a related note, I kind of wonder if there have been a number of programs revealed with respect to, say, the NSA and FBI and so on that are, let's just say, legally murky, and so when looking at this Klein guy and wondering like why he hasn't been charged or hasn't. In any case, I wonder if there's some legal obstacles related to some collection of, let's just say, digital content or whatever that's legally murky that's sitting in the way that might explain some odd timings with respect to charges and so on.
I don't know. You made me think of something. Wouldn't it be weird if this whole time they've always been interested in that network, but they let him be to see if he could draw out, like if he becomes active again, if it would draw out those same characters, and they've been looking for that other person this whole time, and they've just hit a dead end, and now they're getting the public involved for anybody that's communicated with the individuals in any way associated with that account. That's what I'm just thinking right there. What do you think about that?
I wonder if they have, if they're kind of monitoring, if they were kind of monitoring others for, like, say, looking up this this account profile or certain keyword triggers or whatever.
Yeah, but just think about what I'm saying. Like, you notice all those different press conferences, like the one in 2019. You could almost see them talking to one of the people that might have been affiliated with that username, but they're totally unknown, and they can just be at a press conference. And they're, it'd be really interesting, like that's when Carter in the podcast that I was in said, "We know a lot. We know a lot." And I was thinking, wow, what does that mean? We know a lot, right? Okay, so maybe they've always known a lot. They just can't identify the one person. And maybe they've even thought that it was social media the whole time, and yet told everybody that it wasn't, to keep the person, the network that they're looking at, they would still feel safe. Oh, wow, they're not even aware of us at all. Let's keep going. And so maybe that whole time that they were putting out that narrative, even when Ives told us that it wasn't real, that they really did believe it was social media. Wouldn't that be interesting?
Yeah, and I think that makes some sense. And then also with the 2019 press conference with the sketch, I wonder if that sketch was modeled after the Anthony Shots account. There's some facial similarities there, and so it's kind of a it's kind of a way of announcing some knowledge without announcing your full set of knowledge. And it came with comments of something like, "You want to know what we know, and someday you will." And so I do wonder if it definitely felt like they were trying to bait him out to some degree in 2019, that press conference.
Yeah, and then now they're trying to get that same person out, but I think they don't believe that Klein is the person. They're just trying to get whoever that other user is out somehow. Yeah, crazy. Who knows?
Anyway, that's all I got. Thanks for taking my call.
Well, thanks for calling in, Steve. All right, have a good one. All right, let's see. Okay, Chris, you're on.
Hey, I'm back.
Oh yeah? Oh boy. What's going on?
Yeah, I'm back. So, okay, hold on. Give me a sec. Okay, so I was wondering, like, I was thinking the same thing. Like, can you hear me well?
Yep, I can hear you. Almost too well.
Okay, good.
I'm just kidding.
Can you do you think that that Klein guy is the perpetrator in that case?
No, I don't.
Me either.
Yeah.
Because
he could be, but I don't think he is.
Like, from other channels, I've heard that not from the news as well, that they raided a place, but this was like right after the murders. they raided a place in Peru wherever he lives.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, that's his house.
I'm assuming it was his house, and they didn't find anything, and they did not arrest him until like 2020 because he had like CP and stuff like that. But I think if he was the one that did it, they would have already figured it out and would have charged him with that.
Yeah, well, it seems like they definitely, I mean, I don't know. There's so many different theories right now. My brain is just goes all over the place.
Yeah, like, me too. Like I don't even understand like what's really going on. Like, and also, like the Klein guy, why would they just arrest him in 2020 if he had anything to do with that? And why would they put out a statement?
Well, that's what I was just thinking.
Like
I mean, that's what my theory is right. Just a random, putting everything that we see together would be that in 2017, they were really interested in him because he had communicated, that account had communicated with, and this is 2017, like right then, 2 weeks later. But then they thought, he doesn't look like the person, but let's, don't make an arrest. Let's see who he communicates with, blah, 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 blah. And it never really led to anything. And they're just kind of getting back to that point. And now they want people to come forward that have communicated with that account. But I'm wondering if this has been something that they've been really looking at for a long time.
That's like what intrigues me. Like, why would they come forward now to say, like, have you communicated with this account before? Which means he's already in jail. So
yeah, I think it means
they're trying to get
they're stuck.
More evidence on him, or is there other people involved?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think that they're just trying to. I don't think that they're just trying to get something on him. I think they're trying to get something on somebody else that used that account, and they tried everything they could to get that information, and now they're asking for the public's help to get that information. That's what it seems like.
That's what I thought. Because it doesn't make sense for them to come now, like 5 years later, and be like, okay, this account, we need to know who has contacted someone and using this account. But at the same time, don't they have like digital like forensics and stuff like that, or they can kind of find the IP address of people that have logged into that account or something? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm reading some comments too at the same time, but what I just said a minute ago is what I think. So if you I think that they've been interested in finding out who else was communicating on that account for a while, and now they're finally going to the public to have them help, because they really couldn't. They just couldn't get the answer on their own. So there you go. What else do you think? You still there? I don't know. She must have got muted somehow. Alright. Not sure what happened there, so I'm going to have to remove that one. Let's see. Thanks, Chris, for calling in. Alright, 928, you're on. And thanks, Amber,
Hello.
Linda, Georgina, and TTJO Tracy. Hello, 928.
Hi, how are you doing today, Gray?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
Good. I'm doing all right. So I had a couple thoughts about this situation with coming out with the, well, you know, with the picture and then with this new Klein character. My thought is that what if they are trying to correct their strategy? So you know how we originally had the first sketch that looked like an older person?
Mm-hmm.
Then there was a second sketch that was the younger person.
Yeah.
what if those two people are people that they know to be affiliated with this account? And so they were using those sketches as a way to try to get to see, okay, we know these two people use this account, so we're going to put these sketches out there to the public
and make them panic so that they give up the real people.
Well, yeah, and then is what happened is they really, if you want to know the truth, I think that they damn near destroyed the case with releasing that second sketch. And so now, as a corrective action, instead of releasing a third sketch, they're coming out and just basically giving up everything and saying, hey, we need to know about this account and anyone who might be affiliated with it.
I mean,
so
wouldn't it be interesting?
It'd
It'd be kind of interesting if they thought maybe it was the, I don't know, this is just hypothetical, that maybe it's the father in that house. And then at the 2019 press conference, when they said, you didn't think we would change our strategy. And then they put the picture of his kid up there, hoping that maybe, okay, it was me. That somebody would come forward, but maybe it didn't work out that way. But maybe you could hypothetically say that perhaps a father at that same house maybe had access to the same email systems. I mean, I'm not saying that is what happened, but it's it's interesting because the dad's even mentioned in the sort of the script that he told one of the girls out there.
Yeah. Well, that script is poorly worded at best, confusing in reality. The other thing is I've wondered, and I haven't done it myself, to be honest. If we were to go back to 2017, and I know, let me be very clear, I know that the model who has all those pictures on this Johnny Shots or whatever his name is, whatever the username on that account was,
Anthony.
I know he is not included, but it'd be interesting to go back and see what he looked like in 2017, because I noticed he did change his hairstyle quite a bit.
Well, he's a little bit lighter in 2017, but he's still pretty big. Like the guy on the bridge looks like he's got skinny legs.
I'm saying the model, the guy that actually has the pictures up there. Right? Oh, yeah. It would be interesting to see what he looked like in 2017 and see if he resembled the sketch of the younger person. Now, I say that knowing that the model, for lack of better terms, I heard somebody else calling him Justin Bieber's younger brother. Him, okay, I know he's not. It doesn't have anything to do with this case other than them just catfishing and jacking his photo. But it would be interesting to see if they were mistaken and thinking that maybe he was the prime suspect and the prime user of that account, to see how much he resembled the sketch of the younger person.
But what would be the strategy to put out a sketch of a known model?
Well, because at that time they didn't know that he was just a model. They may have been mistaken in thinking that he was actually using the account and might be the offender.
I think they knew. I think they knew he was a model, and then it was a catfishing account. I mean, look at a guy that. Here's the reality, everybody. A guy that looks like that doesn't have to go on to social media and try to hey, come. It just doesn't. It just isn't gonna. He wouldn't need to have to do that. So to me, it seems like they've always known that guy, probably from the get-go, wasn't real. I mean, he's a real person, but he wasn't really the person behind creating the account. And they knew that right after they did the investigation. They found, on February 25th, 2017, they found that he was using Anthony Shots username, and that's the face that was associated with it. They're just now sharing that with the rest of us.
Right. Yeah, it was just that was just kind of a theory that I was thinking, but I would be really interested in. I do think that it is quite a good possibility that those two sketches turn out to be two people that are affiliated, to be known to law enforcement, to be affiliated with this account that they may be using, or may have been using.
Yeah, there might be multiple people But it would be interesting if it actually... Here's what's crazy. What if it does turn out where it's a father-son team? And that's something that other people have said all the time. But it always seemed to be ruled out, except for Dave Burston said early on that, don't assume that's just one person. But then that got changed later to the person that you see is the person responsible for killing Abby and Libby. So then it got switched to, then there's just that one guy. Okay?
Right.
But wouldn't that be weird if we go that whole circle, full circle back to all the stuff from the beginning? It's just unbelievable.
Yeah. Something that has struck me too, as I've been taking a closer look at these, the image of the actual bridge guy, the one that we know from the I don't know, Libby, I guess, or Abby took a picture of that day. Have you noticed how strange the structure of his legs are? I know, I don't want to sound, weird, but pull up a picture of him whenever he's in stride taking a picture, taking a step forward. The structure of his legs are very, very unusual.
I don't know, you're talking about the guy on the bridge in that 2-second walk?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. See, I don't know. When I look at him, he looks like just a normal. To me, people look at that and they want to come up with all kinds of. Oh yeah, he's got a bad knee. You can see he's walking with a limp. You can't see anything.
I'm not saying. Yeah, you can't tell anything really about his gait.
Mm-hmm.
But what you can see is you can see where his pants go up and hug the structure of his leg. Okay, and if you look at the structure of his legs, for one thing, they don't look anything like Klein. Okay,
they're thinner.
I don't care.
They're kind of thin.
Yeah, they're very, very, very thin, but almost muscular. Okay?
Yeah. I think he's got strong legs, but they're not big, chunky legs. They're just kind of like regular person legs, and I don't think he's got a big belly on him. I think that's stuff underneath the jacket. But it seems like he's got his upper torso and lower body are the same width. Like normally your upper torso is shorter than your waist down, but he's got kind of like short legs, and then his pants probably come up. I'm sure if he bends over, you can see the crack in his ass.
Right.
Okay.
No, I think the best reference from that picture for his upper. Everyone gets carried away with looking at the jacket. I think the best reference for, and this is an act in futility at this point. I mean, if there was anything to be derived from these pictures that was going to break the case, we would have found it years ago. No, but if you do look at it, the best reference is coming off the brown shirt under the jacket. And if you look at that, it looks like it comes down in continuity. In other words, it doesn't look like it breaks off of a big old belly and then tucks back in towards his pant line. So no, I agree. The guy on there looks quite thin. Now the one thing though this is something very interesting to me that I've noticed as well, is his face. He looks like he has a mask on. I mean, now it's a lot more normal, but looking at his face, he looks like he has on one of those spandex masks.
Yeah, I don't believe any of that stuff.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about it like a spandex mask.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Like you can kind of see through it and squish, but the thing is, he's just so far away that his face is blurry because there's not very many pixels. I've already shown you that on the screen. I mean, I have a video that's shot in exactly the same spot with somebody walking on it. You put them in the same spot, you zoom in on their face, and there's probably 60 pixels. There is hardly anything, because the image that we see is, I would say, 1/20th of the full video. Like they just zoomed in on this little tiny portion, cropped it out, and then made a video out of that, and that's why it's kind of it's blurry. So you can't say, like when you say, I guess if you said, is it possible? I can't deny that it's possible because it's so blurry, right? But just because it's blurry, what seems more, I don't know, it just doesn't seem reasonable that he's going to be walking around with stocking on his face. But.
Yeah, I don't know. And again, this is all an act in futility. There's very little to glean from the video and image itself, but one can't help but getting intrigued and interested in it when you do watch it. But long story short, I personally do not feel like this Klein character is the one directly involved with the Abby and Libby case.
I don't know.
I'd actually be quite surprised if it turned out to be him. Now, it might be somebody that he knows. It might be somebody that he's close with. There was an interesting thing. It was a video that I watched online. Did you see the video where he was taking a picture? You know, they were saying he had Porsches and Lamborghinis, and then there was one from inside. I believe it was some sort of Nissan sport car, and it was the inside of it, and it was a Vroom.
Yeah, it's like it's a cheaper than his Porsches and whatever the hell Lamborghinis that he was showing.
Right. Now, did you see where they were able to match up there's a house with like 3 or 4 trees in the front of it in the upper right corner of that picture? And did you see where they were able to match that up to a house in Florida?
No. Oh yeah. Well, it's not Florida. It was matched up to a house in Peru.
Flora.
Oh, Flora.
No, it's Flora.
Yeah, Flora. Yeah, it was in Flora. But that wasn't somebody that used any mapping skills or anything. What they did was they just went, well, I live here. I've seen that house. It's got those 4 pillars. Okay?
Right.
Because there's no street view. There's no street view. There's no way to determine that from any other way except if you'd lived there, you saw it. That's it.
Right. But still, I think it is interesting that it goes that is seemingly the only real picture at all that he has in that account, which now if it was as easy as I'm thinking it was, it would have been done. But it's seemingly there wouldn't be too many Nissan sport cars in Flora or Delphi.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd think that would dwindle down the possibility of people quite a bit. And I do believe that is, because if you look at the picture, I don't know if you've actually seen the picture where they actually do have a street view of it, of the house. It is very, very similar, and it looks identical to the house that is in the upper right-hand picture of that picture that he's taken inside the car where it says Vroom. So anyways, I just thought that was quite interesting.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. What else you got?
That's really it, man. I mean, I'm pretty stumped at the whole thing. I really don't. I don't understand why why the law enforcement is releasing a picture of somebody that I think it's pretty easy to tell is not the person in the picture. I mean, at this point, if you want to know the truth, I honestly think that this is everyone's all excited and worked up about it. I think it's more depressing than anything. I think this shows how clueless they are. I think this just shows that how much of a Hail Mary they're throwing right now.
You know what I wish the most? I wish that there wasn't a the Klein character. Like, I wish it was just, hey, we need to identify who the user of this account is, right? And then you'd be, oh wow, so they're really on it, and then you get that person. But now then you're in this weird world where that's what it seemed like they were asking, and then you come out and you wake up the next morning and, oh wait, they already know the guy, but they want to talk to people that had it just seemed like, what are they doing now? But I think then that's when you immediately go, well, then maybe they're looking for other users of that account because he doesn't really look like the killer on the bridge.
Yeah, well, yeah, and the wording, and that's why I said at the beginning, the wording of that is confusing, of that statement is confusing at best, because it really is poorly worded. They go a long way to say almost nothing. And I think that the whole purpose, if you want my opinion, on releasing the picture of Klein is, I would imagine, to try to put pressure on Klein. I would imagine that they're trying to put his image out there, maybe get his friends and family going to him, being like, dude, what the frick, man? Like if you know something, you need to tell him, trying to put external pressure on him. That's the only thing I can imagine.
Could be.
Because overall, he does not look like the guy in the picture. Plain and simple, he just doesn't. That guy looks thin. He looks thin. So I don't know, man. I don't know.
I think there's definitely
everyone
some
else.
pressure angle. I mean, he obviously knows that there's other people that use it. Maybe he's even said that. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Hopefully they'll come and give us some more information in the next week or two.
Yeah, and see, something that I thought originally whenever this very first broke 2 days ago, I was thinking, well, maybe is what they're doing is they're not trying to make their case. Maybe they're trying to make a case against his case. So in other words, maybe he came out and said, well, yeah, I use that account, but a lot of people use that account. And so they were trying to get a bunch of people to come to them and say, no, it's only been Klein that's ever showed up. It's been Klein. It's been Klein.
Except he doesn't look like the person though. So
exactly. And then after more kind of examination or sleuthing, I guess, it came to me that it's not him at all. So yeah, I don't know. I think I'm not excited about it. I'm actually more depressed than I was. This is probably the most depressed I have.
I'm not going to say 100% it's not him, but I'm going to say I don't think it's him. Okay, but there's always that little chance, that he looked totally different and he's dyed his hair dark when it used to be reddish brown, and he
there's pictures of him though, man.
There's
but there's pictures of him that were taken like right after the murder.
Well, I saw one in August of 2017, and he looked quite a bit bigger, but way smaller than he does now.
Yeah, way smaller than now. He looks about 100 to 150 pounds lighter than he is now. But he still does not have the body of
but maybe
the bridge guy.
But that was August, right? So if he gained all that weight from, in all these years since then, how much weight could he have gained in 6 months? Right?
Okay.
I mean, what I'm saying,
point.
so that's
Fair
something
point.
that you might consider, but I'm not thinking that this is the person, but I was just wondering if we could find a picture of him in February of 2017, then, and he looks a lot closer, then I'll be way more on that board. The only problem on board with that, I mean, and then the thing is the only picture we do have from 2017 that I've seen is in August, and he appears to be probably about 40 pounds too much than the guy in the bridge looks like. Something
I would
like
say
that.
closer to 60 to 70.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. I mean, he looks a lot way bigger.
But you see now, the more you get into it, you can go either way, because then there are certain things about this that interest me, is once you dig into it more and you start finding out about him doing factory resets and how he went in and he downloaded Instagram and deleted it. Well, the reason why he was, in my opinion, why he may have been doing that is because as everyone who's ever watched Forensic Files should know, that when you delete something, you don't really delete it. It just frees up space. It says, hey, this space is available to download something over it, but they can still retrieve whatever you deleted. So he may have been trying to download stuff over. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
right. Like if you, and that's exactly how. There's programs out there that write over all of the sectors that you've deleted stuff from, but they're blank. Right. So it's like it writes over and makes it blank. So now there's nothing there. But like if you delete something, you can still find chunks of it out there until that part is written over. It's still just a deleted section, but yeah, that's how they do it. Yeah.
Yeah, so I thought that was pretty interesting. There was some more stuff having to do with computers, cell phones. I thought it was interesting that he himself went and turned in, I believe it was an iPhone 4 or 5S maybe, that he went and turned in to them 2 weeks after the interrogation.
Well, no.
That was the one where they...
It wasn't. They actually turned it in. Oh, sorry, my phone's ringing. But he turned it in 2 days after. And that was
it was 2 days.
And that was the iPhone 5. I can't get the phone because it's over here, but it was an iPhone 5, and let's see. Yeah. So what was interesting about that phone is all the other phones and tablets and whatnot, he didn't care at all about when the search warrant shows up, even though they were filled with porn, with young girls and all this stuff. He didn't care about that. But he did care about not giving them his iPhone 5 on the 25th. And then as soon as he went to the station, he got a polygraph test done on him. Right after the polygraph test, he goes home. And in 2 hours, he's deleting apps from and that was on the, no, actually on the 25th, he already had access to the phone, right? So that's what's crazy, right? So on the 25th, they go over to the house, and they got all those other devices. He didn't care about deleting anything from those. Then he goes and gets a polygraph test. He comes home. That very night, he starts deleting Snapchat and all the other programs. He starts doing that. On the 26th, he deletes more. Then on the 27th, he brings the phone in, and all these things are deleted from the only phone that he was using during the time that Abby and Libby were killed. That's interesting to me. So
yeah. And not only were they deleted, but he half-assed and incorrectly tried to completely eradicate the data from the phone. Anyways, it is. So once you start getting into a lot more of the minutia, it makes him seem plausible. But then when you get into actual physical stuff that we can look at and see, it seems less so. But I don't know. I hope that I hope I'm wrong. Don't get me wrong. I hope that I am mistaken. This is the guy, and maybe he could just go and eat Little Debbie's for a day, and gain that much weight in 5 months. I hope so.
I'd like to be able to do that. Like sit around and just eat ding dongs and Twinkies 24/7 for a year.
Oh, dude, it's all about Little Debbie's, bro. Little Debbie's.
Okay. But when I was in high school,
they called me the Little Debbie Bandit.
I don't even know what those are. So, but if I could eat
oatmeal,
Twinkies,
dude, the soft, delicious oatmeal cookies filled with cream in the middle. You don't know what that is?
Oh no!
Oh my God!
Apparently I'm glad, because if I can just sit there and eat those things over and over and over.
Gray, I can almost snort them. Okay, I can almost snort them. So. I'm joking. All right. Hey, thanks for giving me some time on the show. You have a good night, man.
Okay. All right. Thanks a lot, man. See you.
All right, bye.
All right. Well, I got to go use the facilities now, if you guys don't mind. Here, I'll play the debunking music here for you guys. It's always fun. Hello, rodeo clowns out there. Those people who say that the barricades are actually people. Hey, there they are. Don't those dogs deserve super chats that help support the channel? Just look at that. The fact that I own those dogs. What do you mean? Here you go.
What do you mean own, Gray? That's mean. What do you mean own dogs?
Okay, they're family members, okay? Oh yeah, forgot that one. Forgot that one. Right.
Bitch, please.
Yeah. I don't think that Cash App thing works very well. It's never actually worked. Other than the one person that said, "Hey, Gray, do you have a Cash App?" Yeah, look at Chloe. Isn't that crazy? All right, you know what I'm gonna do though? So there's people here that don't really know this stuff. So there's some stuff that I was told by a sort of an insider source individual a long time ago. Okay, so here's the crime scene right here. It was right in this area, and I even have the tape in the right spot there. That's where the crime. Well, you can't see it. Hold on. Right here. Hey, at least I caught myself quick instead of 20 hours of video. But there it is right there. The crime scene tape. Hey, thanks, Laura Nelson from the UK. Why was he not arrested in... I don't know why he wasn't, but maybe they wanted him out there because they thought he was part of a larger network. And they wanted him to still be able to communicate, but they monitored him. Something like that. Who knows? But it is kind of weird because they had all that information. So here's the crime scene. And it was probably around 2:20 in the afternoon because 2:07 was the second photograph on the bridge. I'm going to say between 2:20 and 2:30 is when they were made to go over here, and they were right over in this area, right? And then Derek, the father of Libby, he was all the way down in Frankfurt here taking photographs for Becky's appraisal business. Then he drove all the way back. He was only supposed to be gone for an hour and a half to 2 hours, and he was going to pick them up. So when they got dropped off at 1:30, he was going to be there between, let's say, 3 o'clock and 3:30. Well, he got there at 3:11. He drove by the Wilson Bridge right here at 3:11, and then he got right to this, past the cemetery, and then to the parking spot at 3:14 right here. He got out of his car and he talked to a guy in a flannel shirt who had already been to the bridge here, and he said he saw a couple there but nobody else. So Derek said, "Oh shoot," and the couple meaning a man and a woman. So then Derek instead, since that's where the conversation was, went down the 505 trail here, and he didn't find anybody. Then he walked all the way back up, and then he got back up to here at about 3:30. Okay, but the source that I have said that the killer was near the crime scene for 20 minutes of the time that Derek was searching for Libby and Abby. Like, he got there at 3:15, so that means until 3:35 that he was still in the area. Well, that's crazy, right? Because right here at 3:15 he walks down here, and wouldn't it be interesting and ironic or coincidental or whatever if the killer, after coming back, walked back on the trail here, and the only reason Derek didn't see him is because he went down this direction like this, and then he came back up, and then he went over to the Freedom Bridge, so he was just behind. Like, he got back up here at 3:30. Let's say the killer at that point was right here. Well, Derek can't see him, and then he walks over here, down, around, and goes and gets in the vehicle at the CPS building here. Now, the CPS building was an abandoned building, and there was a vehicle parked there, backed in, so you couldn't see the license plate, apparently. I thought that there's a surveillance camera right here on the side of this building, and my buddy Cairo went out there, and it would cover that building, but apparently that isn't what they used to determine that he was out there. Also, this person said that there was a bike that was seen, obviously must have been on a camera, but it came back in a reasonable amount of time, so they ruled that bike out. Okay, but then you wonder, well, is it the same camera that filmed the guy on the bike? Maybe that filmed the suspect, but it's so far away it doesn't give you a better look than even the one that we have right now. Okay, so you got that. He also said that the DNA that they did find, they were shocked how little evidence there was in that sense at the scene. That they were very, you know, I won't get into the details on that, but they got touch DNA off of like a shoulder of a shirt, okay? And the thing is that doesn't mean diddly. I mean, it doesn't mean anything. Touch DNA, unless it's in the perfect spot, you know, maybe like on a belt buckle of some pants that maybe a guy or girl was wearing that were taken off, or something, you know, that would lead you, that would be significant. But on a shoulder, you could literally have DNA from somebody that was in China earlier in the day that just got off a flight, went to a McDonald's, brushed up again. You know, we don't know. It could be anything. So it's really, that kind of stuff is meaningless. But I guess they do have some kind of a sample. He also said they believe that the guy must be pretty strong because apparently he was, you know, had a hold of like Libby's wrists or something like that and pulled her somewhere. So, you know, that's what this individual said, and he was right on a ton of other things. So, you know, and the person that told him is actually somebody that would know. That is somebody that was in a position that would absolutely know that. Maybe shouldn't have known, but could easily know. So there you go. That is no, it is, Maggie. It is meaningless. Yeah, I know that you don't want it to be, but it is. Yeah, it's got very few markers, and it's really poor. It might end up, because even if you find the person that the DNA matches, it might not be the killer at all. It's just touch DNA. What you really want is skin underneath, fingernails, semen, a blood source that doesn't match the victim's, and then you're onto something at that point. But when you touch DNA is very dicey. Now, if it's touch DNA from a suspect that shouldn't have been anywhere near, then you know, or somebody that is a really good suspect, their DNA shouldn't have been near her, and it's there, they can't trace back how it would have got there, then great. But the touch DNA is really not a very good defense attorney could easily counter it. That's the thing. What do you mean, what's touch DNA? We've gone over that a million times. Jesus. Yeah, you know, like your hand touches something and it leaves a couple, just very little DNA on something, but it's there. And the thing is, it's you can actually get real genetic information off touch DNA, but the touch DNA could be from like anybody. Go to a shopping mall, for God's sakes, during a sale. Well, you probably got touched by 1,000 people in there. Your jacket is a treasure trove. You could probably populate an entire country if you were just doing cloning. Come on, Zozo. Jeez, you've been here for years. We've talked about it 1,000 times. Come on. Where's the crime scene on the map? It's over here. It's right there. The girls got dropped off right here. They walked this direction. They took a photograph right here, then a photograph here. Maybe there's more photographs, but they weren't uploaded to Snapchat. Then at the end of the bridge, they saw this guy coming. They're standing right here. They filmed the killer coming at, Libby filmed the killer coming. Abby got behind Libby. Then the killer says, hey. They said, or something like that. See, that's what was interesting is early on in 2017, somebody spoke to one of the people that watched the entire video, and they told me that he said, hey, hey, before they ever released that part. And it says, hey guys, but so that is that portion that she was referring to. And then right here, the killer caught up to him, said, hey, stepped off, gun cocks, get down the hill, or, down the hill. But I think it says G apostrophe down the hill, and then down another hill to get to the lower level. And then I always thought this was the crime scene, but he easily could have forced them across, but he killed him over here. And they may have even ran for it to get over here because a shoe was found. One of Libby's shoes was found on this side somewhere. I don't know where exactly it was found. Come on, Zoza. No, it's like it's touch, touch DNA. Don't you remember when Colleen explained how there was this? They thought this guy was a killer, but the paramedics from another crime scene had just worked on somebody and transferred DNA from the first house to another house, and then it got on that person, and then it was a total mess. Okay. Yes, everybody hit that like button. All right. So let's go hit those like buttons right now. And here we go. Hit that like button right now. Hit that like button, 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 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, hit that like button, hit that like button. Okay, now send in super chats. 10, 20. 15. Yeah, I didn't think that was going to work. Hey, thanks, living it. Yeah, I knew that one wasn't going to work. Hit it! That's Beastie Boys. Someone says evidence we would expect was dog poop. Yeah, the evidence at the crime scene, one of the things he said is they think he may have done something, that insider guy, done something to himself at the crime scene, but didn't leave any material, as it were, at the scene. You get what I'm saying? Now maybe I don't know. That's what they thought maybe, but I don't know how they would know that. Oh yeah? Jennifer gets busy in the morning? No, I'm just teasing her. I mean, we've only had Colleen on about 50 times and talked about the touch DNA, I could unplug my kettle and get electrocuted at 33. Does it mean I'm not going to have a coffee? What does that even mean? That just doesn't mean anything. Wow. If police release more info, then the creepiness will attract interest and fame in people like Reno. Yeah. I try not to ever use his name, but I just read yours, so I said his stupid name out there. Just, ridiculous. Let's see. Yeah, I don't think Klein is part of it. One of the girls got it worse than, yeah. Well, I mean, it's hard to say. They both died, right? Jeez. Yeah, well, that's what they said. They wanted to know who the driver of the vehicle that was parked at the abandoned CPS building, who that was. So that means they know the vehicle. They probably didn't want to tell us because maybe it's like a Volkswagen Rabbit, and everybody and their dog has one of those. So as soon as you say it, you got all these super sleuthy people that'll call in. Hey, I saw a yellow rabbit the other day. Well, where'd you see it, man? Well,
I saw it. It was in Nebraska. It was in Nebraska.
Well, what does it have to do with Delphi, man?
I don't know, but it was a yellow rabbit. Yay!
Oh boy. Yeah, let's see. Nice little Baron. Use the car. Hey, hold on a second. I gotta go do something. Thank you, Mountain Jam 71. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, the lines are open, everybody, so go ahead and call in. Oh, I think there is a call. Somebody did call in. All right, 317. Hello, 317. You gotta unmute yourself. Right there. Go ahead. 317. You must be from Indiana. 317. Hello, 317. Okay, well, who knows? Thanks, Saturnine.
Hello?
Yeah, it took you like an hour to answer the phone. I mean, we were sitting there for like literally 30 seconds. Are you, were you, well, it wasn't an hour, but it was like 30 seconds. Were you listening to the show itself?
No, I hit unmute on my phone, but I didn't hit the start
thing. Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
Wow, I was about ready to do something else. So what's going on?
Okay, it's Debbie, living it.
Living it, as in, wait, hold on, as in living the dream.
That's right.
We all learned that one. See, I remember asking, like, what does that mean, living it?
The dream.
Yeah. That's right.
So, hey, I'm looking at this fine guy and all of his charges. I worked with a lady whose father was arrested with the same charges. Only the feds were involved because he had actually traveled out of country for contact with a child. But I'm wondering, I was a little educated after that on the goings on of the child pornography, and they have a network, and I'm wondering if, like, the fine guy, if he is just like the little
my wife
scapegoat that they're using to get into, because they know he's in the network. I know that probably didn't make a damn bit of sense.
Well, say it again, because there's something smashed on the floor over here. Go ahead, say it again.
They have networks, and so they're buying, selling, trading child pornography amongst huge groups of people. And I'm wondering if, because I've always thought since the one press conference that law enforcement knows who they're looking at, they just can't lock it in. And perhaps they know that this guy is in one of those networks, and maybe known personally to Klein.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why they're throwing him out there. But because looking at his charges, they were the same types of charges that lady I worked with, her father had, only he went beyond that. But then I learned about all the networking that they do. And it's like the dark web, just buying, selling, trading pictures of children.
Well, that's I was kind of picturing a dark web thing where they're sharing this user account, and they probably even huddle up sometimes, but nobody knows who each other is. Like, they don't show their faces. And then they say stuff like, okay, now here's a good way to do it. Now you can use this one to lure them in and become their friend, and then suggest them to meet up with this person. And then, they all, I guess, I don't know where they're all doing it at, but it must all be in Indiana, I guess. But maybe it doesn't. I guess it doesn't even have to be, really. It could be somewhere else.
Yeah, but I wonder if they're local and they know, maybe through connections on their personal computers and stuff, that they're personally connected, like a relative or a friend, and they're both in this network. And and it makes me sick to think about it, and there's the chance that it was snuff film related.
Yeah, that actually, well, now that we're going down this route, that crossed my mind. I just don't want to, that's
it's
what,
hard to say.
Like, was he deleting that off of his phone that somebody else created and sent to him? And he was like, oh man, I can't have that on there. Because that's the only thing. See, the other ones, he'd get in a lot of trouble and get some prison time, but if you had a snuff film, then now suddenly these questions start getting asked, and it moves it way up on there. It's just so strange. It's so weird that he deleted only off of the phone that he was using during the time that they were killed. All the other phones, he didn't care about the porn or the chats with girls, and it just something that means something to me.
Now, where did that information come from about that he was protective over the one phone?
Well, it was in that document we read the other night. It was like a 35-page warrant, I think, where, I've got, let me see if I can find it. I think I've got the one from, I transferred it all to text yesterday for the show. So
oh, you did? Okay, because I've missed a couple over the last week.
Dare you?
Or showed up late. I know, I'm tardy or absent.
Yeah. See, down here,
I'm a delinquent.
So down at the bottom down here, it says the phone was utilized on approximately 2/27/2017. Keegan would have been 22. He said the user of this device used Facebook, Instagram, MeetMe, Snapchat, Twitter to communicate or chat. The examination found multiple still images saved on the device that depicted females posing nude. And then it said the Apple iPhone 5 deleted multiple items off the phone before turning it into law enforcement. So all these other devices, the iPod Touch, the Nextbook Premium tablet, and other cell phones, they got all those. But then it says right here, on February 25th, so that's the day the warrant was served at his house, where he turned in all those other devices. The search warrant served on Klein's resident, and Keegan was interviewed and polygraphed. On February 27th, 2017, Keegan called the Indiana State Police, so 2 days after the warrant, to turn in his Apple iPhone 5C. So now here's a more detailed, it says on February 25th, 2017, that's the date of the warrant where they went to the house, at approximately 7:30 p.m., Keegan's polygraph was concluded. So he did a polygraph test, and it was concluded at 7:30, and he was transported back to his residence. The digital forensic examination report shows at approximately 9:19 on the 25th that, so after he got home from getting polygraphed, he's like, oh shit, he goes home, and now he has that phone. The user of the iPhone 5C started to uninstall and delete apps from the phone. And then at approximately 9:19 p.m., the user uninstalled and deleted Snapchat. At approximately 10:14 the same evening on the 25th, the user uninstalled and deleted Instagram from the phone. Then the following day, on February 26th at 1:12 p.m., the user uninstalled and deleted Meet Me from the phone. The user put Snapchat back on the device. And then on February 27th, 2017 at 1:30 p.m., the user again uninstalled and deleted it from the phone. Then he turned it into law enforcement. I mean, that's pretty damning. It's like,
yeah.
Why did he only do it to that? Why was that the only phone that he made sure law enforcement didn't get a hold of when they showed up at his house? You know.
Mm-hmm. Because that was the only phone he was using.
Well, it just
when
happened
they were killed.
Right, so there you go. But it was weird because all the other phones had horrible stuff on them. But it wasn't at the same level, it seems like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Not for him, enough for him to be. He already knew he was strung up, so it's like the other stuff just wasn't at the level as damning as the iPhone.
Yeah. That's right.
Now, what about over time? They've said that there was no indication of a meetup with anybody through Snapchat before that's been said.
What do you say that again? It was hard. I couldn't really understand what you were saying.
Over all the years I've read, and I don't know if law enforcement ever said it or not, but that there was no indication that there was they were there to meet anybody.
Yeah, well, that's what Robert Ives and everybody said. He just said that there was no social media angle that they could find. But obviously, they were able to determine that Anthony Schatz, that account, communicated with Libby. Because if it didn't, this wouldn't even have led to anything. There would be no... What would be... It would be an absolutely wild shot in the dark. Except in this case...
Right.
I think that... And there's people... I've actually seen it. One of... people that have been in the chat, and I've seen screenshots of people that remember seeing the Anthony shots and thought it was suspicious at the time. And it's crazy. I mean,
Brandy and I had seen, and I'm going through old screenshots of stuff. Brandy Bradford and I we had looked at tons of stuff and actually came across something with this guy, but neither one of us were able to find the screenshots that we had. But
so you were yeah, that's right. She mentioned you. So you were following the Delphi case right at the beginning.
Yeah. Well, we're not far from Delphi.
Yeah.
We're like an hour and a half from Delphi.
So you're one of the ones that went on to the was it Snapchat and saw, or Instagram and saw that account?
I think it was Instagram. I'm not sure because I don't use Instagram that much. I think I've gotten on there a few times to look at stuff, but I think Brandy might have been the one that found it, and then so we were looking into stuff. And
that's interesting. So
that's gonna be a lot.
You saw it and you went, "Wow, that's so classic. Look at this guy. Nobody looks like this," right? You know.
Well, and it was just that because other people were talking about him too, so we went down that rabbit hole.
Oh, really? So there was people actually looking at that person.
There were people.
Yeah.
I don't remember hearing his name. I just remember an orange car, and we were talking about it the other night, and talking about stuff. I don't remember specifically his name. I'm sure it was brought up back then, but I don't remember specifically his name.
Yeah, that's weird. I mean, then the one screenshot that I've got is on February 25th, the same date of the warrant, but it was another Facebook conversation, and they seemed to be absolutely all over that person. They went, "Wow," and they described it. They didn't say the name Anthony Schatz, but it was exactly the same thing. It was pretty clear. So,
wow.
All right.
Okay, but I was just calling to throw that angle in there about maybe there's just a connection through the networking that these people do when they're collecting and selling child porn. and
it
could be like a group, a small group of whoever that get together or just talk online, but they all live in the same area.
And that would be where the violent predator type, when they could just get in there and act like they were like one of them, trying to get photos and images and send them around. But he literally figure out a way to meet up. But then it goes back to the original creator of the account, because if you were really nefarious, you would use a VPN to sign in using the sign-in that you all get, and then so really the account creator, which turns out to be Keegan's the one that created the account, but there was probably other users, and those people are all probably unknown because of how they would have signed in. The only dummy, the only idiot was Keegan, the way he created it and would have let everybody else use it. It's like he's just the fall guy for all the other perverts and psychos, and even possibly a killer.
Yeah, I think if there's any angle that directs, I don't think he's Bridge Guy. I don't think he's the one that did it. I think if there's an angle, it would be that it's somebody that's in the same network that he is.
Yeah.
So that's all I wanted.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, hey, look, star six. That's all you do.
Star 6. I'm gonna write it down. But yeah, if I find any of our old screenshots, I'll send them to you.
Yeah, I want to see those. That'd be cool. But
all right.
But thank you, living it, as in living the dream.
Thanks, Greg.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye. I bet she wasn't born with her first name Livin and the middle name It, right? I bet there's a real name out there somewhere. We don't know. We don't know at this point. Oh, thank you to Christy for joining Patreon there. Let's see, any other callers? Nope, no other callers. Did the girls actively sing or play an instrument? I don't know. Are you trying to blame a music teacher? Is that where you're heading with that one? It's hard to believe Keegan didn't use VPN. That is a little bit weird, isn't it? It's a virtual private network where it signs you in, but your IP address is hidden when you use them. It'll use like a generic IP address that a whole bunch of other people are using too. I don't think it was. I don't know. I heard people say it was active. I'm just not really into that. It's just. So one of the other people that had access signed in. Yep, there we go. Okay, I don't know what your number is, but who's call-in user 1? It usually never turns out well. Who is it? Yeah, who is it? Who is it? I know. Yeah, okay. Well, what's going on?
Upon further review, I was thinking about the conversation and looking back at that affidavit, and it got me thinking about, I don't know if you recall, but there were some statements put out by law enforcement, some to the effect of that mistakes were made early on. One thing that stands out, if you look at the forensic examiners, the unredacted page, right, which there's not much that's unredacted, but the file path, okay, reads Celebrite, okay? Celebrite, I believe, is the Israeli company that was the first software combination hardware that...
Yeah, they're the ones that got into it. Yeah. Yeah, I
So
saw that
I
on
believe
there.
some of them is right. So that Celebrate, that's an extraction software. That extraction software is designed, okay, to capture, okay, and recover deleted information if it's done in a timely manner. So that could be possibly one of the things, that may have been, because that in my mind stands out as something that that a mistake that was done early on, because that could have clearly it could have been recovered. Be that as it may, one thing that stands out too is the fact that he was picked up in 2017, February 25th or February 27th, and he was released. The individuals or the law enforcement folks, right, it was a combination of, I guess, local police and FBI. It got me thinking, generally speaking, when that occurs in an investigation, it's because they want that individual back home. And it's not because you're trying to conduct surveillance or trying to keep tabs on him and see if he slips up. It's more likely than not that he was the role that he played was to be an informant, okay? Because if you release that individual, okay, without any kind of agreement or any kind of objective, they're subject to all sorts of things. So they'll inform the parties or their cohorts, right, of the rest or the
well, maybe you're just monitoring what they're doing, trying to figure out.
Right. Well, they put him to work, right? They put him to work.
Well, he might not have known he was. He might not have known he was put to work, but yeah.
But walk that one down. If he would not have known that he was put to work, most of these, if there is a ring, okay, chances are these folks don't know each other. They're just anonymous profiles, right?
Yeah.
His behavior would have become suspicious. He would have alerted them. I mean, they would have scattered. Yeah. They were all scattered like cockroaches.
They probably figured out right away that the warrant that was served at that house was him. Early on, maybe. I don't know. It's hard to tell.
So how would they? That's again. How? Unless they're keeping tabs on him, right? That gets this conspiracy. And the other thing that kind of stands out in that affidavit is it's confusing. Maybe they're onto new information because it states that he created the account 6 months prior to the February 2017.
Yeah, in 2016 he created. It basically was used for like 6 months total. So they just used it.
But isn't the operative term here created, right? Aren't they asking for the creator? It almost seems
he did create it. No, that's not what they're asking for. They know that he created it.
Okay.
But they're looking for anybody that communicated, I believe, with the other people that used the account. If it is a bunch of people that have been using it, now they want to, because those people probably are really quite anonymous, where they really, he's the only one that the account was associated with physically. So now they need to talk to the people that may have met some of the other people in person and then realize it wasn't really Justin Bieber's cousin, right? So then they want to and then we're down to a description of somebody, right? Because now all of a sudden you get this other, this is what he looked like, and now we're back to another sketch, I mean, so I'm a little bit nervous of how this is going to lead to an actual individual. If it is, in fact, that other people were just signing on using the same account, and if they used a VPN, I don't know how they would ever find the person other than a description by somebody who met them or by certain words that were said in the conversation. It might narrow down a location depending on, hey, I can meet you in 20 minutes, and somewhere else I can meet you in 40 minutes. You start drawing circles, and then where they overlap, boom, 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 you can find the spot where that person was communicating from. But then again, even when you do that, there's probably, hundreds of homes in that very area. So it's like, it's going to be really tough. for them to actually find the killer in that scenario that I just mentioned. Like if they don't even know who he is at all, and they're waiting for descriptions from people, and then you're back to another sketch again. Anyways.
Yeah, it's just very unfortunate, and when you look at the affidavit, it's also telling. I mean, clearly Klein was not using a VPN, right? He wasn't masking his IP address. They were able to identify that, and if I guess just maybe somewhat of a non-chronological step forward, but just circling back to what you said, if they're hoping, law enforcement hoping for, I still believe they're looking for some kind of data that may be connected to that account that resides in somebody else's. So anyway, I digress. But ultimately, it almost seems as if, what's the likelihood, right, that that another person, okay, met up with the potential killer, right? Because ultimately, it almost seemed like this was his first time, and I just don't find it plausible that he attempted to meet up with someone, and unless the person he intended to meet up with, they were assaulted and they got away. Okay, that's not out of the realm of plausibility, but these are fake accounts. Okay, you're whoever is meeting up with who they believe Anthony shots, you're going to quickly realize he's not the individual.
Yeah, he doesn't look anything like him. He's got a 1-pack, and it's all a huge pack. So, it's not like the other guy has like an 8-pack and really skinny and tiny. The second he shows up, he's not going to be, it's not going to be the same person at all. I'm always wondering how all these guys do that. Like there's that show, PCI something or other, Catch a Predator in Indiana. And you've got these people that he catches, and they were supposed to meet up with like a 13-year-old kid at a mall. But what was he telling the kid before? Was he sending pictures? When he gets to the mall and the 13-year-old sees this guy that's like 40, they're just going to take off. So what's the point of the whole... I don't really get any of that. It's crazy.
And the other... there's a lot of information. Again, we're not law enforcement. I don't know. I have no clue what's going on. But, they have brain capacity. They're humans. So there's a lot of pieces to connect together. And one thing that kind of stands out, like, be that as it may, right? Let's say it's not... it's all like... More likely than not, Klein is not the killer. The person they're looking for had access to the account, communicated, but that person also had to know that Delphi area pretty well.
Yeah.
And from my understanding of the modern hybrid, that's not exactly a one-way street. It's a very complicated and complex terrain. So it's almost as if. And the window of opportunity is just so small, and one's got to be. It almost seems that everything had to be perfect for that nefarious act, and
that's what makes me. That's why it's weird, because when you say yes, it was a catfishing moment. Well, what are the odds that in a catfishing moment that he got there right when there was 0 people at the bridge or anywhere around there, because he knew that, and then he follows them. All right, so what are the odds of that? That seems like that's 1 in a million. Just because there were so many people out there that day. Not so many, but there's people on and off throughout the day, and then there was people right after that. But he found this one window with the people that he was going to be catfishing. That just seems so unlikely to me.
And let me ask you something. You've been out to the area. I don't know the best word for it, but the acoustics in that area. There's videos out there of what it sounds like, or when people are hunting. I gotta imagine. Again, speculation. They must have yelled for help. I mean, it hurts hearing, thinking that they possibly did, right?
Yeah, except what we figured out was I did this whole show when I showed the shadows on the bridge so we could figure out different times, because I've got a program in 3D Studio Max where I built the entire bridge, north-south oriented, everything, the map, everything was on there. And then I used the daylight sun system time and then used daylight savings time, got everything was set up perfectly. And then I looked up the weather, and it was windy that day, and the wind was blowing towards the crime scene. So that means if somebody was yelling at the crime scene, anybody on the bridge wouldn't hear a damn thing. Okay? And then there was various other things that we checked out too, with the shadows that would show that the like the time that when Cheyenne was on the bridge and took that one photograph, it showed exactly when that would have been, within minutes, because it showed the shadow of the stands of the bridge below it, and you could tell what time that was. So she was on there a little bit. I think that picture, if I remember right, was 3:15. I mean, it's just so amazing that there was people that actually crossed all the way over the bridge within 40 minutes or so of them being taken across over there. But they wouldn't have heard anything because the wind was blowing towards the crime scene. You ever seen that when if you ever golf and you're trying to, if the wind's with you and you're yelling at somebody, they can hear it easy. But they could be 50 feet away,
tailwind, sure.
And you can't hear a damn thing if they're yelling into the wind. It's just, you can't hear them. So there you go.
It's just very, it's very odd. You're looking now for the Snapchat account that communicated. Great. Let's say you find some, you identify them. Well, how do you put them at the scene of the crime? I mean, it's not like there's parking right up on that bridge. They had to trek across. And again, you're talking about taking the life of two little girls. That's not, I mean, you're not, it's not fast food service.
Yeah.
And the comings and going, it's just so, it's so odd. It almost, because you see, there's a bunch of ideas that, or, theories out there. It was an opportunity killing. Well, that was quite some opportunity. I mean, that was the most efficient, nefarious act that could possibly exist in the history of crime, because there's so many variables they could have gone, but they did not.
Yeah.
They did not. Everything worked out just fair. Nothing works out. It's impossible. Chaos exists. There's just too many improbabilities. So I'm just befuddled by the, it's interesting that the fact that they identified this individual, they found it very quickly, okay, and yet they weren't able to. I mean, it's just odd.
Yeah.
The only thing that kind of in that affidavit that kind of speaks to the probability of there being more than one individual, perhaps as conspiracy, I don't know, maybe. But when they talked about when he was the intended recipient, they did have geolocations of the photos. And one of them, I remember they were, I guess they're neighboring counties, like Kokomo. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right. And it seems that these images were being shared and they were from those locations. But again, I mean, is that how it works out there? That folks that live in that kind of county, they travel often to Delphi? They just would know that area, or it's kind of like a maybe, man. I don't know. It could be I mean, I guess my question would be, and I don't remember what pages, which of those, they identified 3 or 4 counties, and after the part where they said that he was the intended recipient, right? And I guess my question would be, which one would be closest to Delphi? And I did a quick search and I thought it was Kokomo, but it's just very strange.
Yep. Well, anyways, I'm gonna go on to some. I'm just kind of like, I'm burnt out, right? My brain right now. So I'm gonna go do something else for a minute. But I appreciate you calling in. But yeah, I agree with you totally that it was just completely. That's why I've always thought it was a serial killer-like person that was sitting there waiting for an opportunity because they waited until there was a window. And that would make sense. But if you were there catfishing, that means you had to go with what was presented, and then boom, this wide open window pops open. I mean, it's just, that part's crazy. But anyways, I appreciate you
All right,
calling
buddy.
in.
Have a good one.
All right, have a good one. See you. Bye.
All right.
Yep. I'm going to try to see if I can find that program that I made here. See if it's in there. Yeah. So every night on my show here, we try to raise, we raise funds for help support my channel, because I spend 3 or 4 hours 7 days a week doing this. So when we have these long lulls where I'm doing all this, doing these long shows, it always gets a little discouraging. But the thing is we've donated, because of the generosity of all the freaks, $41,500 to charity, and we're building up a DNA fund, and that's kind of what we do here. So that's what every single night I try to raise funds that, obviously help support the channel and the charities. But on the nights where you have so many people watching and it's just dead, it gets really frustrating. All right, let me see what the I'm gonna try to find the one. Where is it? I thought it was recent. Oh, there it is. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can find the one where we have the bridge. Is that it? Oh, I think that might be it. Let's see if this is it. Yeah, so we're the only YouTube channel in the true crime community that actually donates money straight from the income from the channel. Okay. All right, so here is what I did for the shadow on the bridge here. Let me see if I can get this to work. Yeah, see how I lined this up? It's perpendicular to the bridge. The entire area is north-south oriented, just like that. And then you see that's the pillar of the bridge. And let's see how that works. Oh, there we go. Right there. All right, so if I render this, and I have it set to, let me tell you what it's set to. Thanks, Melinda Moto Maiden. Man, another maiden. Hey, what's going on? All right, so let me do the yes, and 50% of all the income that comes in goes to charity at the end of the month. Okay, but this is an actual, this is a second source of income. This whole channel for me too. But the biggest aspect of it that makes me feel the best is that I don't know if anybody's new here. If you can't, go look at the Bibb County John Doe case that the freaks on here, through a couple, like 2 or 3 months of us donating money at the end of the month to a DNA fund, we were able to fund $8,000 to identify Daniel Armentrout, and he was a 1961 hitchhiker John Doe that died in a car accident, and he was only 16 years old. And we just I think about within the last month, it took a year to get it done, and boom. So regardless, this channel is getting stuff done, and we make a difference. All right, and I like to keep making a difference. That's why I have to, I used to hate mentioning super chats and all that stuff, but after you see the good that it does, then it's like boom. Okay, it's awesome. So let me tell you what the daylight system here says. I was kind of having a hard time remembering how to use this damn thing. Oh, there it is. Okay. So we go into, let me find the set. Is it set up right there? Yeah, set up. Now look at it. It's set to 310 And the month is February 13th, 2017, -5 time zone. Hey, thank you, Mike S. All right, and then that means the sun. So now I'm going to go out to the top here. I'll show you what it looks like in the environment. See, there's the sun system, and then I've got the north-south oriented map right here. And then I've got a camera on that pylon right there. So now the image that we're looking at here, let me get to the, I'll show you what we're comparing it to. This is one of Cheyenne's images right here. This one right here. Hold on. Just going to open it up. See this image right here? She took this image on the bridge. And that's the start of the bridge. It's not the far end where the girls were taken down, right? So see that this stand underneath the bridge right there? And look at the shadow. See how it gets wider and wider off of the cement and then goes like that? You can see right here that it's narrowing. So then you go over here and you, since I can't, go below the bridge here, I'm going to just do it on the top. It doesn't matter. And then you render it. And then look, watch this. So there's the pylon there. And let's see what it does. Okay. So you can see the shadow. Can you guys see the shadow right there? It comes off, but it's probably a little bit steeper of an angle. I would think it kind of comes more off like that. So let's see what happens if we make it. Let's go back to the setup here. And let's make that like 320. And let's see what it does to it. Okay, so you can see it right there. There's then it's sort of coming off of it like this. So all you can do is get a general in a time frame. So if I make this, let's say if I made that 4 o'clock or 16:20, so an hour later, watch what it does on that one. See, you can see it down there, but look how wide it goes. See that? Boom. Now if you look at this one, it doesn't do it. It's nowhere near that. See, it starts getting wider, 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 and it goes off like that. So if you look at this one, I think if you make that something like 15:30, that might work. Let's see. We'll see here in a second. I wish the shadow was darker so you could see it, but it's right there. So something like that makes more sense. So this might have been filmed on the way back to her car, because she says at 3:45 she got to her vehicle and she uploaded the images to Snapchat also. I mean, ironically. So that picture that you see right here, I think that's a Snapchat photo, but that's probably as she's leaving, takes that one last photograph and then walks to the car, and then at 3:45 loads it up. So looking at that one and this one, that looks pretty close. Might even be a little bit like 3:40, 3:35. But anyways, I'm sure that was really interesting for you guys. Sometimes I just wonder, because most people just like the sensationalism stuff, not the actual scientific, factual stuff. They just get really bored with it, and I think that sucks, I really do. Because I'm an actual true crime YouTuber, like I actually try to figure things out using the facts of a case. I don't go, hey, everybody, you know, with this goofy intros and shit like that, and, you know, total bullshit 24/7. Now, this is like an actual channel making a difference. Based on rumors, you believe in your sources what unique or odd items were at the crime scene. I don't know of any of the items that were at the crime scene. But thank you, though, for the super chat. I have no idea what the unique items are at the crime scene. Yeah, I'm always on this channel. I'm always going to do whatever I feel like doing in terms of trying to figure out and put the facts out on the table. I'm never going to not do that just because people are bored. If you're bored, go watch, you know, the jackasses dancing. I don't really give a shit. I'm going to do what I need to do to try to figure things out. Sometimes we have these long shows where we're working a cold case, using newspaper articles, figuring everything out, and then boom, right? We figure it out. We don't know, you know, we have a good idea of what happened, and it's still a cold case a lot of times. And then there's cases that are active, that are just happening now, that we've followed, nailed it, and then boom, when it's all said and done, we're all saying boom, 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 because it was right on the money. Yeah, not all of you though, Brenda. Yeah, there's a lot of wackos that they only show up during certain cases, right? That's right. Drama must remain on the stage. Okay, well, you know what? I don't have any more. I ended the phone calls, and as we're leaving here, we'll probably lose, you know, get 150 people, 300, because people only want to talk about Delphi every second of every day. When it's hot, they'll immediately stop, and then they'll go find who's doing another stream. Okay, I'm just going to go over something that was in an article here. This one isn't going to be something that we're going to try to solve or anything, but I thought it'd be interesting because it was in the news. Thank you, Brandy C, for an actual true crime YouTuber. That's right. Yeah, I'm not crama, whatever the hell you want to call it. All right, so this is back in 1996. Okay, this is going on right now. So it says, authorities are investigating the slaying of a woman whose body was found in the bathroom of a pizza parlor where she worked. Priscilla Ann Lewis, 21, apparently struggled with her attacker before she was killed, according to Lieutenant Tom Moore of the Contra Costa County Sheriff's Department. The Vallejo woman was a waitress at the Four Corners Pizza and Pasta. So let's see, where is this located? This is going to be in... Here, we can just go... Hold on a second. Oh, that's right, that was on... shoot. That was on a different... Hold on a second.
Good evening, I'm Alan Martin.
And I'm Elizabeth.
Oh, that's right. This is in San Francisco area. So let me get that last one up again. Hold on. There it is. Authorities. The Vallejo woman was waitress at the Four Corners Pizza and Pasta on 2nd Avenue. I wonder if that's still a pizza place in Crockett, looks like. Crockett, California. And then they said 2nd Avenue, right? So there's 2nd Avenue, and let's see if there's a pizza. Is that second? Oh, that is second. There you go. Oh, there it is. It's still Four Corners Pizza and Pasta. How crazy, huh? So there you go, right there. So there is the place, right there. So now you're looking at it on the screen. From 1996. That's really unusual to have a place like that keep its name for that long. So, okay, Priscilla Ann Lewis, 21, apparently struggled with her attacker before she was killed, according to Lieutenant Tom Moore of the Contra Costa County Sheriff's Department. The Vallejo woman was a waitress at the Four Corners Pizza and Pasta on 2nd Avenue. The homicide was reported shortly before 10:30 p.m. Tuesday by a restaurant cook. Authorities said several businesses share the basement bathroom. No suspects have been arrested. Investigators are seeking to interview customers who were in the side of the restaurant at about the time of the slaying. Yeah, so then we're going to go to, that was in 1996 September. And then we're going to, there's a picture inside the place. Wendy William above worked at Four Corners Pizza with Priscilla Lewis. This is in December, 3 months later, who was found dead in a small bathroom. So let's see what it says here. Priscilla Lewis was known to most Crockett residents as the perky, hard-working waitress at Four Corners Pizza Restaurant at the town's rundown Valona Square Mall. Her murder in the mall's lonely basement the night of September 24th became a Crockett's only homicide this year. So it was the only homicide in that town that year. A brutal, unsolved slaying that has chilled this gritty old industrial town throughout Crockett, which is in the shadow of Interstate 80 and the, Carquinez Bridge. Posters announce reward money for information leading to her killer or killers. People wear buttons displaying the 21-year-old Lewis picture as they walk through the town's narrow two-block center of aging antique stores, boutiques, and mom-and-pop restaurants. Last week, Tosco, an oil refiner that recently announced plans to buy the Unocal refinery in nearby Rodeo, chipped in $25,000 in the reward fund. Unocal already had offered its own $25,000, and with several $1,000s raised from restaurant countertop jar, the reward fund now stands nearly $6,000. At Willow School, the continuation high school where she graduated, teachers, co-workers, and community members planted a willow tree last week in memory of Lewis, and people took turns making speeches. I remember her as a pretty blue-eyed little girl, said Contra Costa Sheriff Lieutenant Ovid Holmes, whose daughter grew up and went to school with Lewis. Lewis had her share of problems growing up in a tough part of town, but was working hard and getting her life together, saving money to buy a house, Holmes said. Holmes has investigated homicides for 25 years and was stunned to receive a phone call informing him of Lewis's strangulation. At the Four Corners restaurant, a memorial sits just outside the entrance. Flowers, dried in plastic, decorate a table along with cards, letters, and mementos left by customers who knew the young woman. There you go. A picture of Lewis hangs on the wall. Inside the pizza parlor, another picture hangs over the coffee pot. Business is down since the murder. Yeah, I mean, who would want to, it'd be hard to go in and have a pizza when somebody got murdered. Maybe people feel kind of weird coming back here, said waitress Wendy Williams. Lewis was killed just before the restaurant closed September 24th inside a public ladies' room on the dimly lit basement level, God, how freaky would that have been, of Valona Square Mall. A rundown, musty building that was once a family-owned department store and now is listed for sale. The mall restrooms are open to anybody who enters the building, which houses the pizza parlor, a video store, a construction office, a candy store, a dance studio. About half the building remains vacant. The building has 3 entrances and 3 stairwells, each narrow and long, leading to the basement level, which is isolated and largely vacant. One of the stairwells is located in the back of the pizza parlor. It's creepy down there, Williams said of the basement level. We never went down there to use the restroom. We would go across the street to the bar. I think she was snagged and dragged down those stairs. Williams pointed down to the narrow staircase covering with worn carpet. I don't go down there at all anymore, she said, shuddering. Lewis's body was found by a cook who checked the basement restroom when Lewis failed to return from the workers, from what workers thought was a break. So she never came back from a break she was on. At this point, we have no suspects, said Contra Costa Sheriff Lieutenant Tom Moore. Okay. So there you go. That was basically all they had in the papers back then. And then we get to this suspect arrested in the 1996 case.
KPIX Files Andrea Borba on the new crime numbers just released this evening.
That's not going to be it, though. So an inmate serving time for sexual assault charges in a Southern California prison has been charged with the 1996 cold case murder of Priscilla Lewis, whose body was found in the restroom of Crockett Restaurant, where she worked as a waitress. The Contra Costa County Sheriff's Department announced Thursday that 51-year-old Danny Lamont Hamilton was being held on murder charges with 4 special enhancements: murders by lying in wait. So apparently he just sat down there waiting for anybody to felony murder, kidnapping, felony murder, burglary, felony murder during an attempted rape. Investigators said on September 24th, 1996, Lewis, a 21-year-old resident of Vallejo, was working as a waitress at the Four Corners restaurant located at 628 2nd Avenue in Crockett. The cook at the restaurant called 911 shortly before 10:30 p.m. after finding her body in the basement bathroom. Man, how spooky would that have been to find her, too, knowing that there was a killer that was just there. The cause of death was asphyxia due to drowning. Oh, my God. I hope that probably means in the toilet. Since that time, sheriff detectives have continued the investigation, interviewing dozens of people while the crime lab analyzed numerous pieces of evidence. Several search warrants were also served. Despite persistent investigation over 2 decades, the case remained unsolved. In 2020, detectives submitted additional evidence to the crime lab to be tested. Using current technology, a DNA match came back to that of Hamilton. Boom! DNA wins again. He was incarcerated at the Martinez Detention Facility from 1999 to 2002 for unrelated sexual assault charges. He was later convicted of those charges and sentenced to 295 years in prison. So this is 3 years after the attack. He was finally arrested, and it must have been absolutely horrific to get a 295-year sentence. Hamilton is currently serving his term at the state prison near San Diego. I would like to recognize the many Sheriff's Office homicide detectives and crime lab staff for their dedication and relentless work in the murder of Priscilla Lewis in 1996. So, boom. That's all you can say, huh? Oh, and I don't know if you guys heard, but Smollett, the whack job that said that he was attacked by a MAGA hat wearing racist. He was actually convicted on 5 of the 6 charges of lying to the, just lying in general. I mean, it was a total joke, everybody. I mean, that's the worst of the worst, to fake a racial event like that. He should get I would give him 20 years in prison. I think it's something like that undermines the confidence of society, and events like that actually affect the way people think about how things are in a country and affect how somebody might vote. It was completely bogus again. just like Charlottesville. All right. So, anyways, it was great that he got convicted. Awesome in this case that they solved it. You know, got another barbarian off the streets. Well, I guess it wasn't off the streets because he was already in prison, but it'd be great if you could just sort of put a death penalty on that. I can't stand people like that. They're just absolute monster barbarians. And that's it. All right. Hey, we only lost about 75 people once I switched off of Delphi. So that's pretty good. Thank you, everybody, for the ones that stayed around. But like a lot of times what we'll do, what I'm going to do here in the next couple days, I think I'm going to get started on the Martin family in Oregon in 1959. They drove up to get some like Christmas tree or something, and their entire family disappeared, including the car. But they did find a couple of the bodies of two of the daughters 30 miles apart. And I think it'd be kind of cool to go up there and try to figure out where's the best place to look in the river, and then somehow then reach out to the Adventures with a Purpose and see if they're willing to go out there. That'd be awesome. So that's, you know, it's a missing person case, but who knows, right? And that's crazy because I've got like, let me show you what this looks like already. Hold on. Just a second. It's going to take a while to get through it. I can tell you that. Here, so far, this is how many stories I have, but I think I need to still get more because I ended there. I mean, I still got more I've got to go, but here is the family right here. Right there. This entire family. This guy, the dad over here on the left, he put, they called the street that he lived on Candy Cane Lane, and it was him. He set up this whole thing where he put candy canes on everybody's lawn, and people drove around, and they were just out there to get some trees, and they all disappeared. Up in the gorge, though. So I'm going to go up there, too. It's going to be crazy. Going to be crazy. Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah. But remember we did the Malvina Crutz that one time? Similar to that. Similar to that one. All right, so I want to thank the well, it says D&K Reck is a Oogla Boogla, but I think they were already a channel member. And don't forget, if you want to become a channel member, that'd be great. There's a really cheap option of $1.99 a month, and you get all the icons that everybody uses. For example, should I go through the emojis for people? Yeah, so this is when you want to throw me in jail, that one. This one is Chloe with a police hat on from Halloween that I haven't removed yet. This is one that Brian set up for me. The GOAT, greatest of all time. This is Timmy for the Murdoch case. Then we've got the Chewbacca symbol. And Chewbacca came from this one right here. Listen, here we go, listen.
Chewbacca? Oh, I'll be Chewbacca if you want me to.
Yeah, see, that's our buddy Cairo. He drives around the country for his work, and he was at a hotel, and he was going to go out and have a cigarette, and just as he opens the door, this lady outside goes, or whatever the hell that sound is, and then he recognized it, even though he'd never seen Star Wars, and said, Chewbacca? And then she, being a sex worker, said, I'll be Chewbacca if you want me to be. And you know, hey, raise your hand if you're a guy and you've always wanted to be with somebody that looked like Chewbacca. Yeah, I didn't think so. So listen to that again. Here we go.
Chewbacca? Oh, I'll be Chewbacca if you want me to.
There you go. There you go. All right, and then we've also got Grady Judd right here. And we also have sound effects because he's the greatest sheriff in the entire United States. As a matter of fact, he'd be a great president.
Did you hear what I said? 5 brain cells, 4 aren't working. You know, that's just one step above stupid.
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff he says at his press conferences, okay? All right, and then this one right here, that's me. Isn't that weird? Can you guys see that one? This one right here? It looks like me, right? I got my visor on, my goatee. There's like, you can even see the headset around the head and everything. But it turns out, if you can believe it, that was actually... Let me go to this other screen right here. Let me go to this one. Look at that. Oh, wow. I put my actual face in there. Forget it. I'll go back to this one. It turns out that was just paint on a lock that was in a video that I was watching, and I go, God, look at that's me. And it's called pareidolia, where you see human, like recognizable shapes in inanimate objects in places there really isn't one. Okay. Then we've got this one right here, girl code. What are you looking at? I can't. Yeah, I'm just putting it in the chat, right? It doesn't matter if you can see it or not. It's the emoji that I put in there. This one's the one of me right there. This one right here is girl code, and that is the innate ability that females seem to have, where they can carry on a conversation in the chat that makes absolutely no sense to any rational human being, but they just carry on like it all made sense. And I think that's when we as guys realize that there is a special girl code that's going on. All right, this one right here is so mean.
Gray, you're so mean.
And then when that happens, I get thrown into jail just like this, right? And when I get thrown into jail, some of the freaks sometimes will bail me out. And yes, again, it helps the funds, and it helps the channel out as well. All right, so we've got the prison there, and then what's next? Oh yeah, look at. I'm going backwards through the list. Look at. That means when I'm not seeing something, like for example, if I'm right here on this screen, this happens once a week at least. I'm on this screen and I'll say, okay, now look at this building right here. It's really interesting. You can see right there, and then people go, what do you mean? And they'll say over and over again, Gray, look at, can't see, look at, or look at maps. Right? Look at maps. That was the best. That was hilarious. Okay. And then we get to this guy. That's another Halloween one, but he's the guy from Ancient Aliens. That's when you see somebody on YouTube or somebody theorize where they start off with a shaky premise at best and then build on that. Something akin to, is it possible that rock is an alien artifact? Well, probably not. And if it is an alien artifact, is it possible that it was used by the ancient human beings to forecast the weather? And if they were able to forecast the weather, did that affect the way society developed? And then you go, wow. I mean, all of that off of a originally shaky premise. Really shitty. Okay, anyway. And this right here is Chris Watts. See that right there? It's no Chris Watts. We don't talk about, he does get brought up every once in a while, but we don't ever investigate the case after he said, yeah, I did it. Because the case is over at that point. But there was a lot of people out there knowing there was a lot of gold to be panned from the stream of Chris Watts. And still we're covering Chris Watts to this day, as if there was something new to discover. There isn't. This one right here is a screaming lady, which is usually followed up by a sound effect that I don't see. Wait, I know where it is. It's right here. This one right here. The screaming lady one. And then we've got this one right here. Correct. Okay? Correct. All the people say, correct. I can't stand correct. Okay? I can't stand it at all. As a matter of fact, I'll say correct. All right? Because I was working at a place. I mentioned this the other night, but I was working at a mortgage company, and this lady who had no clue how to do anything. She goes, "Gray, can you help me? Can you help me figure this out?" And I go, "Sure," you know. And I was over there helping her out, and I go, "Yeah, this goes over here." And every time I tell her something, guess what her reply was? "Correct, correct, correct." And then I thought, I know it's correct. I'm the one that's helping you, you idiot. You know, that's what I was thinking in my head. But then I realized what the real reason was, is she wanted to appear to be helping me and being the knowledgeable one, so that anybody walking by would hear her say, "Correct. Correct." Oh, yeah, like I was asking her questions. Okay, great. Anyways, so that's why I have that one. This one's Back to You, Jim. That's where you... Back to You, Jim is just every reporter, after they're done talking, they go, "Back to you, Jim." Right? Yeah, so we throw that one out there. We don't really have the vacation one anymore, but so I'll do this one. That's a troll face. Okay, you guys are going to love this one. This one is a fly. So this is what you get when you're a channel member, everybody. So you get all these emojis. That's a fly. Now that one is a story my wife didn't like either, is because the fly represents the moment in time where we got this fly trap out in the backyard. The fly trap filled up, the juice that's in the fly trap filled up all the way thick with flies, and then there was like 8 or 9 buzzing around. So I thought to myself, how do I empty this out, and also those other 10 that are flying around, how do I kill them? I got it. Boom. So I brought it into the house, put it in the microwave for about, I don't know, 30 seconds or so. And it killed all 10 of those flies, but it also made this soup out of the remaining flies. But my part of my plan was to then take those and dump it through a strainer, okay? And then I would have all the flies, and I'd dump them out, and then we would just go ahead and clean that strainer out again. Okay, but actually I dumped them all out in the toilet. And then the rest I sort of knocked out in the sink right next to where she was cleaning dishes. Yeah, it didn't go over well, everybody. But it was a great idea, you got to admit. But then we put the juice back in to the fly catcher, and that was the greatest fly catching juice that there ever was. Flies flew to my house that lived in California. I mean, we had 80,000 flies buzzing around that thing, okay? Somehow it attracted flies from all around the country. It was unbelievable. Okay. And this one right here, this is Blue, his Halloween mask on. Well, I'm saying we because I want to include somebody else, so it's just not me. And then there's Boom. That's usually when we figure something out, or predict something, and then it becomes true. Because here's the thing: when we go over all the newspaper articles we go over, I don't read any of them. I just see the title and save them, because I want to be excited to read them as well. So when we're going through them, we make predictions, and then boom, a lot of times it comes true. All right, and then this one is, what the hell is this? And that's on there because one time I was doing a show and somebody shows up out of nowhere and said, just popped in and said, "What the hell is this?" And we were just talking about a case, and it was funny to me. I was almost going to get angry, and then I thought, God, that's. And then we just started laughing, and then we made the "What the hell is this" emoji. All right. And this one right here is the Generous Freaks, usually like on donation nights or the nights where, someone sends in super chats, people put that in there, or, just everybody. We just do a lot of good on this channel. Even if you don't like the channel, we actually make a difference, and that's just a reality. You can argue and bitch and moan and complain all you want. All right, so here's this one right here, the Rodeo Clown. Yeah, that's when somebody's being a rodeo clown. You put that one up on there. I used to use that all the time when I was debunking people. Hello, rodeo clowns! I mean, I think I would normally... Let's see. I would start it with... let me show you. This is how it would sound. Yeah. Hello, rodeo clowns out there. You know, those people who believe the barricades are people. And no, that isn't a human behind the tree. It's a branch. All right, let's get to it, everybody. Yeah, so that's how that normally goes. Something like that on the debunking videos that I used to do. Okay, and then we got one more. Oh yeah, and then this one right here, the cat eye donation. That's when somebody donates $50. It goes, and it makes this loud noise, and then everyone puts in cat eye, because that's also what shows up on the screen too. All right, and then everybody's favorite is the lizard eye. And this might explain to you a little bit about me, just in general. Just by telling you the story is I was in a bar. There was and I'm telling you the truth because this story has never changed the 1,000 times that I've told it. So I was in a bar. There was a this is like, I don't know, 15 years ago, maybe 20. There was a cute waitress in there, and I was like, hey, you know, she came and sat at my table after after she got done or something. And she sat down, and I thought her eyes were kind of pretty. So I said, man, your eyes look like a lizard. You know? You know, I meant that they were exotic, right? Like, I thought she had exotic eyes, so I said, your eyes look like a lizard. And, yeah, it just all went downhill from there. Yep. So, not very smooth, but that is what happened. Right, Blue? Oh, Blue's waiting for his food over there. Look at him. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's... I don't know why that would be offensive. I mean, who doesn't want to be told that their eyes look like a lizard? No, I meant they're exotic. Yeah. Oh, wow. But no, but sir, you thought lizard in your... Yeah. Yeah, maybe that's why I don't get girl code. Yeah, that could be exactly the reason. Well, you think so, Carolina girl? I thought it was fantastic. Normal, somebody should have said, can you expand on that? What do you mean by lizard eyes? I'm intrigued. And then I would have said, well, they looked exotic, Oh, wow. Well, now you're just an idiot, because why would you ever say they look like a lizard? Yeah, there was no win, right? If you know Star Trek, I was in the Kobayashi Maru scenario, where it was a no-win situation. Or no-win scenario, I guess is the correct phrasing. All right, everybody. Well, that's it. Thank you for being here tonight. And if you want to become a channel member, you get to use all those emojis and know exactly what they all mean. But they weren't just randomly generated. They actually mean something. All right. So thanks to D&K Reck, again, Jojo Peanut, Kathy Freidenmaker, Jessica Schubach, Maybell Quintanilla. And then Your Gypsy, Eugenie, and then Marianne Ridnour. We used to have a basketball player on the Blazers named Ridnour. Marianne Ridnour with a double cat eye donation. Then Mag with a cat eye donation. Justice for Abby and Libby. Then Gloria Batari, Tracy Harrison, Zozo, Started Up a Wave. We got Amber Maiden, Linda Howell, Georgina Stoliker, TTJO Tracy, Mary Burks became a channel member, Cindy Leon, Laura Nelson, Living It as in living the dream. There she is right there. And let's see. Where did that go? There it is. And then there was a nice comment by Mountain Jam 71 said, great mind, Gray. Mountain Jam 71 super chat, and Saturn 9, Jennifer, Melinda Moto Maiden, Organism Gel, Mike S, Barry Benton, Brenda R, Chrissy, Pride or Honesty, Brandy C, Kim F Sharp Harp, and Freya. All right, you guys. Oh, there's Chloe. Look at Chloe up there. Chloe. Come here, Chloe. Come here. Come here, Chloe. Come here. Clickety clackety, clickety clack. Say hello to everybody. What are you thinking? What are you thinking? What are you thinking? What are you thinking? Hey, Chloe, you've got lizard eyes. Wait, you didn't just... Oh, you just burped. Oh, boy. She just burped, for God's sakes. Alright, guys. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the show tonight. You know, it's not the greatest, you know, the happiest topic, but at least it, you know, I thought it was pretty good conversations, good phone calls. There's no trolls for one. You know, well, you know, lately there hasn't been as many trolls on the call-ins, which is... It used to be where every single time you did a Delphi show, you got a bunch of trolls that would call in. But somehow they're not calling in anymore. Makes you kind of wonder who those trolls were and the timing. Now that they seem to be onto something, the trolls just went away. Weird. Who were those people? You kind of wonder about that a little bit. All right. Well, thank you guys. Oh, yeah. Okay, Brandy, I'm hitting some wood. Okay. So thank you guys very much. We'll see you guys tomorrow. And, yeah, stick around. Mary Lou might do some Ice Ice Baby for you guys. All right. Thank you guys very much. And as I always say, everybody, until next time, be safe out there. Oh, and by the way, check out GHI, The Missing Network. Go to, if you're a channel member, you can go to the, what the hell's the name of that thing again? Shit. I'm so bad at the names of apps. Oh yeah, Discord. God. You can go to Discord. There's also Grant Hughes Investigates on Facebook as well. People post crimes and talk about it and stuff like that. So yeah, I got a beholder. I remembered. So anyways, we'll see you guys later. And as I always say, until next time, be safe out there. Good job, mods. Thank you very much. And where the hell's my mouse? There it is. Bye-bye. Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now. And during this whole time, I have not seen one person that is a crime dissector, projector. I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. That's a who's gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak collector, and I'm always gonna be a pup protector. Fool deflector, interceptor, and I'll mean a spectre with a vector on his spectre. With all respect, job. Just remember I've a typical fucking jack job. I have no agenda. I'm a pretender, and I'll serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send you on a mission to reveal the true offender. Alright, everybody! So I'll just get right back to work. Okay, hey, thanks! Control on my food, but I don't need it. I chew it up and spit it out and repeat it. It's not a treat. The troll is beef. Just one of the ways that I defeat it. Still in my groove, when there's a troll on the move, just takes a second to remove, 'cause every time I conclude, the troll is gonna lose. Nice try, lizard eye, I see you creeping on the sly. Why you think you're so fly?
Such a whiny cry, battle me, you're gonna fry. Gonna send you out to mummify. Nice try, wizard eye. I see you creeping round the sly. Why you think you surprised?
Hey, can I do one, Mary Lou?
No, you cannot, John boy.
How about me? Can I do one?
No, Timmy, you cannot do a damn thing.
Why not, Mary Lou?
Because I don't want you to. M-A-S, a T-E-R, a G with a double E. Said I go by the unforgettable name of a man I call the Master G. Well, my name is known all over the world. They are the foxy ladies and the pretty girls. Going down in history as the baddest brother there ever could be. Now I'm feeling the highs and I'm feeling the lows. The beat starts getting into your toes. You start popping your fingers and stabbing your feet. Moving your body, minutes and minutes and said damn. Stop doing the freak, I said damn. Right out of your seat. Throw your hands high in the air. You're walking to the beat singing Daddy Ed. Welcome to the beat without a care. With the short side MCs for the affair. Now I'm not as tall as the rest of the gang. Rap to the beat, just the same. Got a little face, pair down eyes. I'm a credit to the ladies is hypnotized. Singing on and on and on and on. Beat don't stop until the break of dawn. I said I'm on and on and on and on. Like a hot bitty pop, 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 bitty bitty pop, pop, pop. Don't just ever come alive, yo. Give me what you got, cause I'm guaranteed to make you stop. So 1, 2, 3, 4, let me run the mic. What are you waiting for? Do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do. I'm a certified Yamaha MG10XU. Okay, let me try another one. And hey, where's my music key?
You say it every single time. Just, you know when it's gonna end, but you always say that.
Oh, but it always catches me off guard, right? Gee. Right, stop. Collaborate and listen. That's the backwards brand new invention. Something that's holding me tightly. It flows like a harpoon daily and nightly. Will it ever stop? No, I don't know. Turn off the lights and I'll glow to the extreme. I rock the mic like a vandal. Light up the stage. I must have jump like a candle dance. Cause the speakers up boom, killing your brain like a poisonous mushroom. Deadly. When I play a little melody, anything less than the best is a phony. Love it, need it. Better get way, better hit those that a kid don't play. If there was a problem, no, I'll solve it. Check out the hook when I beat it, revolve it. Ding, 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 ding. Ding, 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 ding. Now that the party is jumping, with the bass kicked in and the fingers out pumping, quick to the point, no faking, cooking MCs like a pound of bacon, burning them. Get quick and nimble, go crazy when I hear the cymbal with a hi-hat, with a souped up tempo. I'm on a roll, time to go solo rolling. I'm a 5-4 with a rack top bounce and my hair can blow. Fellas, I'm stand by, waiting just to say hi. Bitches stop, no, just drove on and kept on. Pursuing to the next stop, I thought I left 100 to the next block. Black was dead dog, I continue to pay money. Detroit Avenue. Girls wear hot, wearing less than bikinis. Rock man, low, drumming on bikinis. Jealous, cause I'm out getting mine. She wasn't gave, and Manila was a 9. Gunshots, ranged out like a bell. I grab a 9 on a hood with shells falling on the concrete real fast up in my car. Slammed on the gas, bumper to bumper, avenues packed. Trying to get away from the cactus jack. Police run the scene, you know what I mean. That that's yuck, the front ball of doping. That's what the problem, no, I'll solve it. Check out the hook, reach it, revolve it.
Hey, that was pretty good, Mary Lou. Yeah, that was fantastic.
I know, thank you. There's a little story that I got to tell about three bad brothers, you know so well. Started way back in history with that rock MCA and me, Mikey. Had a little horsey named was Quality there. Me and my horsey gonna pour up beer, riding across the land, kicking up sand, sharp pussies on my tail cause I'm in the land. One lonely beastie I be, all about myself without no party. Sun was beating down on my baseball hat, it was getting hot, the beat was getting flat. Looking for a girl, I ran into a guy, his name was MCA. I said howdy, he said hi. Looking for the gun, well, gun had a grin. You think the story's over, but it's ready to begin.
What do you mean it's the story? You think the story's over, but it's ready to begin? What's going to go on, Mary Lou?
Well, you just wait and find out.
Well, I want to hear now.
Well, you'll get here now, right, Gee? Gee! He told me the story that sounded really rehearsed. 4 days in my run and then he's dying of thirst. The food was in my hand and he was on my clip. The soap was always rose right up before I sip. He's like, I had some. I said, he had none. And it's just a run. Put a shotgun. Pick on the drop. I'd be dead. Put the gun to my head and listen what I said. My name is MCA. I got a license to kill. Hope you know what time it is. It's time to get ill. What do we have here? I want a beer. I run a slendy 1%. I'll make myself clear. Boom, 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 boom. Stepping to the wind, he had a gun, he had a grin. You think the story was over, but it's ready to begin. Over 6 hours. Boom, boom, boom. Shove them off in an ocean liner. No one can rock the microphone finer. East Coast, South Carolina. Where was the board? I go now, now's diner. Off to China, cause I got a show there. I need my passport, cause I gotta go there. You did, you missed the whole show, Laurel, ain't you?
Maybe she had some stuff to do, Mary Lou. Why do you care so much?
Because she missed me do my rap, okay? That's why people come, they watch the whole show, so they can get to the part where I'm rapping.
I don't know about that. I think most of them are here to watch the true crime stuff, and at the end, they just sort of, cool down. It's like a cooling off period listening to you.
No, that's not true, baby. Come here to watch the whole show, and so they can hear me do the rap.
Oh, boy.
What around about me and the crew about something we did or supposed to do. You might not have heard it or maybe you have, but when I first heard it all of it was flat. Used to get angry and pull up tight, but you can say what you want to spell my name right. All I remember was rocking the house, but I thought what the rumor was all about. Kiss me if you didn't tell all your friends, and if you don't wait till you see me again this way, I can hear it from a horse's mouth. Right then and there, we can straighten it out. Got a big mouth, big mouth. People used to tell me that they got a big mouth, but that's what the rumor was all about. Just because they didn't tell all your friends, and if you don't wait till you see me again this way, I can hear it from a horse's mouth. Right then and there, we can straighten it out.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you all for being here tonight. I had to shut off Mary Lou. I don't think she would have ever stopped. You know what I'm saying? So that's just kind of what she...
What do you mean, Ray? You cut me off. They wanted to hear more, gee.
Well, that's why I cut you off, because you say gee every 2 seconds, and I think people get sick of it. You know what I'm saying?
No, they don't, Ray. Gee, I mean...
That was a little bit late on your cry there. It's almost like when you almost wanted to say G again, you realize you couldn't say that because I just said you kept saying it, and you said you didn't say it all the time, but then now you're saying you tried to say it again, but then you caught yourself, and then you started crying because you caught yourself. You hear that?
Well, you got me all figured out. Come on, everybody.
I really did. I nailed it that time. Okay. You know what's weird, everybody? I'm actually, when I'm communicating with Mary Lou, it really feels like there is another person there. What does that mean? All right, everybody. See you guys later. Be safe out there. Oh boy.